whenever you get a situation where someone who is accused or admits to committing a very serious offense like murder or shooting someone, really social media, you have to be careful. People shouldn't, lionize these people because it gets into dangerous territory. You might have copycats happening.
The removal hearing for 28-year-old Dukan Günaydın, a Turkish citizen, was delayed because the Department of Homeland Security asked for more time to prepare their case. Günaydın was arrested late last month by federal immigration agents and faces deportation. Homeland Security terminated his student visa due to a 2023 DWI conviction, and prosecutors say he is a risk to public safety. Günaydın has since filed a lawsuit against ICE, arguing his constitutional rights were violated because he was arrested before his student visa had been revoked. At the moment, no date for his case has been set. Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Changes currently being proposed to Congress could mean an annual loss of about $1.6 billion in federal funds to Minnesota. Walz says the fallout from a decision like that could be dramatic.
It's about $1.5 billion a year, and it's about 250,000 Minnesotans out of 5.8 million that will be instantly impacted and go to zero.
Caretaker Darren Kovar says for children who rely on it, Medicaid is a lifeline.
If a child doesn't get the help they need, the impact is a ripple effect that reaches far and wide and at a much higher cost.
More than 1 in 5 Minnesotans rely on Medicaid, and the program pays for just over half of all long-term services provided in the state. In Bloomington, I'm Taylor Rivera, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
What a crazy winter. Crabgrass season will be early. Don't wait till it's too late to get your project scheduled. Call ProTurf 952-469-8680 or see their work at professionalturf.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days. Smart, sharp, and always on point, because social media isn't where you should get your facts. News Talk 830 WCCO. Buckle up. Time for the ride home and the chance to get caught up on the day's news, plus whatever else he wants to riff on. This is Drive Time with DERUSHA.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Here's the star of the show and your host,
Jason DERUSHA.
Are you ready? All right.
Now live on your radio and streaming to the world at WCCOradio.com and the Odyssey app. Here's Jason DERUSHA.
Well, some breaking news just within the last couple of minutes coming in from the Minnesota Wild. XL Energy Center, kiss it goodbye. Kiss it goodbye. Welcome to Drive Time. It's Jason. Dan is here. Susie bringing you the news. And don't kiss the building goodbye, but the naming rights for the X, it's over. I love the way the Wild announced this. Like, no one can just be honest in a news release and say, XL Energy Center done. right? Like that is the story. Headline, Minnesota Wild announces new partnership with XL Energy. And what is the new partnership? Not the damn name on the building is the new partnership. 25 years. It has been called XL Energy Center. And now we're going to have to learn a new name. Who should buy the naming rights? 651-461-9226. This news is just breaking. It was sort of, I don't know, Dan, there was a little bit of foreshadowing that this thing might expire.
Yeah, this isn't a shock, but
I don't know. I thought maybe they would work it out.
I mean, that was always a possibility, but naming rights change over time. They just do. And so we shouldn't be thoroughly floored that this happened. So,
well, how freaking boring is that take?
Okay, well,
what is that?
I'm sorry.
We're trying to do a radio show here. What are you doing to me? No, it's not. This is not a massive shocker for sure, but it will be a big change, right? I think we've had circumstances where the bank, who's been the naming partner for the Gophers football stadium, where the bank was bought out, right? So it was TCF Bank Stadium. Then it was bought out by Huntington Bank. And it is weird to call it Huntington Bank Stadium. We're still not really used to that. But 25 years of calling it the X. And now it's going to be called what? Target can't afford it, right? Should it be a local company? I think yes. Who are our naming rights partners? We've got Huntington Bank, which is not local. They have a local headquarters, but, it was TCF Bank. So I wonder, would Huntington Bank keep the name? I don't know. Target Field, Target Center, U.S. Bank Stadium. The Wild in their announcement say they expect to announce a new naming partner before the start of the 2025-26 season. The new partnership is sort of hilarious, right? You're like, well, they were our naming partner, but now they're going to have like a couple of signs in the arena, and they'll give out some free T-shirts. Or maybe they'll drop like coupons from the little dirigible that floats around during Wild Game. Texters want no name. Let's call it the St. Paul Civic Center, says one texter. Pete from Oakdale says, I wish we could go back to the old days and name them after some people in our community, like Herb Brooks Stadium. How cool would that be? So the only way you're going to name it after, which, look, objectively naming it after Herb Brooks would be awesome. But you'd need some local company to pay for it, right? Like you can't, bear in mind that the arena is owned by the city of St. Paul. So they need the money, man. They need the money. You're never going to not have a naming right. What you never want is like some lame like .com or AI company sponsor. So like, what are the dumbest stadium names out there? Like in Chicago, you've got, well, it was Guaranteed Rank, and now, or Guaranteed Rate, where the White Sox play, and now it's just Rate. What is the worst? Smoothie King Center. It's pretty bad. Maybe that's the worst one, right? Enron Field, that was a rough one. They had to change that name in Houston. No Name Steaks, the No Name Arena, get them to sponsor it. That's pretty good. I like that. The challenge with naming it, and Paul says to use a name that honors the city or the state or a local person of historical significance. The problem with naming a stadium after a person is, what do we do when we find out that person is problematic? right? Like that, because that happens as well. I'm not a big fan in naming it after a person. I do think like St. Paul could use some love, right? And Blois Olson texts in and says Eco Lab. I do think Eco Lab would make a lot of sense. Now, I've been sort of surprised that Land O'Lakes has never sponsored an arena. Just being able to call it the LOL, I think would be awesome. I think LOL might be a better title sponsor for our baseball stadium right now for the Twins, for the way things are going. How about the Spam Stadium? Hormel Spam Stadium. I don't mind that. What about the My Pillow Stadium? My Pillow, the My Pillow Center would maybe be like a valid name like 5 years ago. I don't know. When did he kind of go off the deep end? I guess it was during the first Trump administration. Marvin. I do wonder about our window makers, but they don't spend that kind of money. So like what did the partnership cost for XL Energy? Do you remember, Dan, like how much XL paid for that stadium rights name?
I do not.
Like it's got to be. Now somebody suggested the WCCO arena, and you could call it the W. I can tell you that since I had to buy my own damn billboard to promote this show,
We definitely don't have that kind of money.
there's a better chance that it would be called the DERUSHA arena than the WCCO stadium. Yeah, we'll look that up. I'm not sure what XL Energy paid for this. TRIA or Summit or something, or orthopedic, since our players always seem to be injured, says a text. You're not wrong.
Don't they sponsor the practice facility though?
Is it?
I think they literally do.
I think so. It's the TRIA rink is the practice rink on like the second floor of what used to be Dayton's in downtown St. Paul. The money is with the banks, right? The money is with the banks. Old National Bank, Wells Fargo. So Old National Bank is kind of new. They've got a bigger footprint in town. Maybe that would make sense. I don't know. It is one of those things that when you get the change, it's going to be really hard for people to remember the new name. And I'm not one of these people. I know some of you guys are like, I'm calling it Sears Tower until I die. I'm calling it Dayton's until I die. And you're like, well, no, it'll be a new name. We'll call it the new name. I'm going to still call it the Metrodome. Like, okay, all right. Like, no.
We do have a couple of textures suggesting California Psychics, which I think would be incredible.
Those guys saw this coming. They for sure knew that. I mean, if anybody should be out in front on putting in their bid, it would be that. Keep it coming. We'll look up what a naming rights deal would cost. I should just email the Wild and see what it would cost. 25 years. It's been XL Energy Center. And it's not just the Wild. It's all of the events and everything. Officially, the naming rights arena ends this summer. Now, hopefully the Wild win tonight, so their season doesn't end with the regular season. But pretty big news, the end of XL Energy Center. Now, the best news is I'm sure all of us are going to get we're going to get a little bit of money back in our electric bill, right? Like now that, or maybe XL will have some extra money they could spend it on this show. If you are a company thinking maybe you want to dance with having your name on XL Energy Center, we'll put your name on the studio. We'll put your name on the live stream of our show on YouTube at WCCO Radio. Naming, if buying the naming rights for the stadium costs $20 million a year, I'll sell you naming rights for this studio today for $20. Drive time. Coming back in a minute.
Jason DeRusha and Drive Time needs to make a brief pit stop on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Livia Weight Control Centers has a new offer that I can't wait to tell you about. Right now, they are renewing their 50% off deal off their amazing nutrition program. It's Jason here for Livia Weight Control Centers. And summer's coming. A lot of us are trying to get in shape for summer. Like maybe you want that beach bod, right? Or maybe you just want to feel a little more energy, feel a little healthier. You can lose up to 20 pounds or more in time for summer with Livia's award-winning plans. So the difference maker for me in losing 45 pounds and keeping that off was the customized nutrition support. They personalize it for you. They make it relevant for your life, your experience, your busy schedule, whatever it is. And they do that with medical weight loss solutions as well. The best GLP-1 pricing around. They've got supplements too. I'm looking into the NAD+. I'm going to start on that. Livia celebrating 15 years of transforming lives. 50% off. This is an awesome deal. It's just in time for your summer transformation. So join now. Get 50% off your personalized nutrition program at livia.com, LIVEA.com, or call 855-GO-LIVIA.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
When it's time to sell a collection of gold, silver, valuable coins, or jewelry, who do you trust? American Rare Coin and Collectibles in Bloomington specializes in evaluating and purchasing valuable collections quickly, clearly, and with immediate payment. For over 30 years, families, trustees, and professionals have relied on American Rare Coin for transparent pricing and straightforward service. Located on American Boulevard, we make complex decisions simple and valuable assets easy to liquidate. Schedule your appointment today at AmericanRareCoinandCollectibles.com.
Anytime is tune-up time at Apollo Heating, Air, and Plumbing. For only $59 gets your AC ready for the summer heat. Just visit us at callapollo.com. That's callapollo.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-969-0686 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0686 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0686.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
So the breaking news just within the last 20 minutes or so, the Minnesota Wild announcing what has been reported a bit over the last, we've seen grumblings and rumblings about this over the last 6 months or so. The Pioneer Press reported on it back in June. I know Blois had it in one of the million takes. I don't know. Was it morning? Was it lunch? Was it sports? Was it Good News Take? Was it On the Take? I don't know. It was in one of those. We're reacting to what the new name should be. Lots of great texts at 651-461-9226. Bill is in Crystal with an idea. Bill, thanks for calling CCO.
Yes, good day to one and all. I would like to propose a name that would generate the greatest good for the greatest number. I'm suggesting the Power to the People Stadium, or maybe Make the Bosses Take the Losses. And and the way to fund this would be maybe a surcharge on the wealthy. That let's say anybody that has personal or corporate assets of over $10 million.
Right.
Yeah.
And just a slight surcharge on the wealthy. And then we just pour that money into the stadium rights deal, and then we sort of get to stick it to the rich guy, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine how that would look up on a billboard or up on the marquee there. Power to the People Stadium. Unbelievable.
So what do you think that nickname would be if we called it Power to the People Stadium?
That would be the nickname.
That'd be the nickname. PTPS?
Sure.
Something like
Anything
that.
that works.
Yeah.
Anything that runs off the tongue,
Right. Yeah, I think that's pretty smooth. That gets you, and I'm all for Power to the People.
Absolutely. And you could run a contest. You could maybe replace that, what is it, that shark thing you have or something?
Yeah, the card to sharks replaced. Yeah. We could give away tickets, but you just have to prove that your net worth is under $10 million, right?
Well, absolutely, yeah. And that card shark thing has kind of run its course.
Fair.
But it had a great start.
Had a great start. Yeah, kind of dipped, no doubt about it. Bill, thank you. Waste management, says a texter. Kemp Stadium, local cows.
There would be an irony to having waste management arena in a town that is struggling to figure out its waste management
trash.
services.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very true. Now, on X right now, where we're streaming this show live, George from St. Paul is just enjoying way too much the end of the XL Energy sponsorship. George points out that the atmosphere just won't have the energy that we've come to expect next season. There will be nobody to amp it up. Very nice. Texter suggests Cargill Arena. You can call it the Big C. Now, the sponsorship, look, from what I could tell in just a quick Google search, it seems like XL was only paying about $3 million a year over 25 years. Which, I don't know about you. Doesn't that seem cheaper than you expected? That's a little cheaper than I would have thought. Another texter says the new sponsor should be X, formerly known as Twitter. And then you could still call it the X. No change. No change. Wild fans know, like, not having, I mean, the XL Energy power play was sort of an obvious. Do we go to, like, the co-ops? Do we go to, like, the Great River Energy? Dakota County Energy could be the sponsor.
Is there a way, can we name it after Kaprizov? Make that part of the deal, get him to stay? You know, there's going to be a lot of negotiations going on there.
You know, a couple of years ago, I would say naming our stadium after a Russian might be a dicey proposition. But these days.
Now it probably gets you money from the federal government, right? I mean, they'll probably kick some in.
Grain Belt Arena. I don't know that Grain Belt has that kind of scratch to put on it. Texter says DERUSHA Stadium. I mean, $3 million.
Would you, if it was going to be your name on it, would you want stadium, arena, center, place? What kind of designation would you want it to be?
I think a baseball stadium should be a field. Target Field.
Right.
Is right.
Or a ballpark.
A ballpark.
Yeah. I don't
I
like calling
think
that a stadium.
a hockey arena. It's an arena, isn't it?
It is an arena, but you could go, like I said, if you don't have to do stadium, you could do center, you could do place, you could, I mean, there's any kind of.
Well, if it were me, I would do center with an RE, you know, make it
center,
unnecessarily fancy.
Perfect. That works.
A little pretentious, but it's still hockey. It's for the people. We'll find out. There have been, Shields Center. Do they have the money for this? $3 million a year for your name to be mentioned all the time, I think it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Everybody gets new gear, new signage. This is the real winner in this deal. Like the signage companies that are going to make some real money off of this deal. I suspect it's going to cost more than $3 million a year, right? Like that. Doesn't that feel like 25-year-old naming rights rates? All right. That is the breaking news. Well, the newsroom will follow it, of course. I don't know. What more could they do? I just did 30 minutes on the name of the damn arena. You can try and one up me, newsroom. Try and get more total coverage than that. When we come back, I got two things that are being presented as scandals. Both involve DFL'ers. One, I believe, is a real scandal. The other, I don't think so. But you tell me if I'm wrong. You can do that when we come back.
Also, it's Twins Ticket Tuesday.
Ah, yes. Who wants Twins tickets?
Twins
Let's
Ticket Tuesday.
go.
So keep listening. Don't call now. Do not call now.
It's a tough
Don't
ticket.
do it.
Tough ticket.
But keep listening. And when you hear the Wind Twins sounder, call number 3.
Yeah.
When you hear the sounder, not now.
Mm-hmm. What amazing series are they going to get tickets
It's
to?
a 4-pack of tickets. You're really going to make me read this. It gets a 4-pack of tickets for next Tuesday's game. That's April the 22nd against Chicago White Sox. It's at 6:40 p.m. on Tuesday the 22nd.
Divisional rivalry.
It's a battle. It's a battle. And of course, you can always make the most of your Target Field visit because that's going to be the $1 a dog night presented by Sheboygan Sausage Company. That's every Tuesday at Target Field. Get your tickets at twins.com/tickets. It's Twins Ticket Tuesday. Not now.
Not now.
Do not call now.
Very good.
But coming up.
Drive Time will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. More Drive Time with DERUSHA coming up on News Talk 830 WCCO. Call in.
Thanks for taking my call.
Make your point.
Are you insane? All the people should be ashamed of themselves.
Be heard.
I'm taking a deep breath, but on the inside, I'm freaking out.
Well, what would you expect his response to be?
You've got to take.
My thing is, if not now, when?
That's all I got to say, man. That's enough.
Don't just listen. Jump in.
I'm a little stressed out, but my God, you guys. That's my God.
Your voice matters here. News Talk 830 WCCO.
You can do this. Why? Because no one cares more about your money than you. Right now, many have concerns about their retirement, their investments. Are these mutual funds a poor investment? Did you know that with the average fees of 2%, you could be missing out on upwards of half of your potential retirement dollars? That's pretty high for management, especially when 75% of these funds underperform the market. At Trading Academy, our mission is to empower you to take control of your investments. Text investing to 210-210. Take control of your financial future. Maybe it's to just have a better conversation with your broker. Sign up for a free investing class, local classrooms, one-on-one mentoring, how to protect your investments against inflation. Text investing to 210-210 or go to learnwithota.com.
You'll feel better, you'll sleep better, and it's all coming to you for free. That's right. Jordana Green here for my friends at Mini Leaf. Mini Leaf products are free shipping all of April. That triple diamond pain cream is perfect for any pain you're having and maybe even any bug bites or a sunburn that you're having. Want to sleep better? Those Sleep Night gummies will definitely do it. Go to MINNELEAF.com. I use these products. They really help me through my cancer recovery. They help me get off my Ambien. Those Sleep Night gummies are a real charm. MINNELEAF.com. That's minileaf.com. Free shipping throughout the month of April. Tell them Jordana sent you when you go to minileaf.com. Free shipping all of April.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Hyatt Centric Downtown Minneapolis Hotel, the lifestyle hotel in the heart of Minneapolis, where the historic Minneapolis Athletic Club meets the urban chic Hyatt Centric. Enjoy your favorite sporting event, concert, or maybe a relaxing getaway downtown. With 154 spacious rooms, you can book with confidence that there's a room to fit your needs. Enjoy a drink at the 615 Bar and Lounge, or work out in the 7,000 square foot fitness center with indoor track. For more, go to HyattCentricDowntownMinneapolis.com.
I've got the rake out. I'm cleaning out my closets, and I'm looking at all of my old windows. It's Jason DeRusha for Window Nation. April is such a good time to spruce up around your house. Let's get rid of the old, drafty, ugly, hard-to-open windows and start fresh. Window Nation has an unbelievable deal right now. Buy 4, get 4 free. No limit to how much you could save it if you buy a house full of windows. They're including a free entry door as well. 0% financing, 0 down, no monthly payments. You're getting new windows today and paying Zippo until 2027. So how do they do it? Window Nation partners with the top window manufacturers in the nation. They're building windows to their high-quality specs, and Window Nation passes the savings on to you. You're protecting your home with some of the best windows you can buy at a fraction of the price of those other brands. This sale does end soon, so don't miss your chance to take advantage of the buy 4, get 4 free. Schedule your free estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or get to windownation.com.
Earth Day is Tuesday, April 22nd. At News Talk 830 WCCO, we believe that if everyone would do one thing to improve the environment every day, our world would be a better place to live in for generations to come. WCCO is proud to support electronics recycling of Minnesota's mission to maximize, reuse, and minimize environmental impact, beginning at collection and extending the useful life of electronic devices. Safe and secure electronics recycling. Go to ecyclemn.com for more details.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Watch for delays on the roadways. We've got construction 35W southbound at the entrance ramp from Johnson Street. Your roadway is reduced to 1 lane. They are installing new traffic signals. However, this should be clearing up here shortly, but again, plan for a little bit of a delay. I'm Tina Marie on News Talk 830 WCCO.
If you have trees to trim or need tree removal, call an ISA certified arborist. Call the CCO Line Company I use. B&M Tree Service, 1-800-569-9034, or get on the web, bnmtree.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Weather's brought to you by B&M Tree Service. Here is WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
A chilly night tonight as we fall back to 34. At least the wind finally backs off. Now, it will be breezy again tomorrow, but warmer. Partly cloudy with a high of 60. We start out dry on Thursday, but rain showers move in. A few non-severe thunderstorms are possible in southern Minnesota with a high of 64.
Right now, I see peaks of sun outside the WCCO weather window. It is still windy in downtown Minneapolis. It's 43 degrees on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
Why do you keep having this scumbag on? I mean, wow. Noted scumbag. Sleaze bag is good too.
I prefer noted scumbag.
Yes.
Right?
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, for those of you joining us, as you've heard that the name of the Wild Arena and the Civic Center in St. Paul will be changing. We'll have the latest on that in the news at the top of the hour, but the XL Energy deal not going to be renewed after 25 years of being the naming rights sponsor of that arena in St. Paul. I want to talk about what makes a scandal and what doesn't. I have 2 stories today that I wanted to talk about. Both have elements of scandal, but to me, one is, one isn't. And I welcome your input on this. One involves the president of the Senate, Senator Bobby Joe Champion. And the Minnesota Star-Tribune, just within the last hour and a half, has reported even more examples of the Senate president pushing for funding for places he worked, nonprofits where he has done pro bono work for their leaders, for the nonprofit. The Senate president, who also has been the head of the ethics committee for the Minnesota Senate until he stepped down from that role, to me has intentionally blurred the lines between good legislation and stuff that he's pushing for his buddies. Now, just because you're pushing for something for your friends doesn't automatically make it a bad piece of policy. But you got to disclose it. You got to be upfront. You have to tell the truth. You shouldn't be the main character lobbying for it. You should get some I mean, don't politicians in this state even know how to like work the system? Get some other senator to lobby for it, so it's not you. Because certainly you could find people who agree with you and agree with this idea. Star Tribune reporting that the initial factor here, which I believe was reported by the Minnesota Reformer, was that he was advocating for money to go to one of these violence prevention nonprofits, $3 million in funding, which, by the way, may be one of the best ideas and worst executions. This sort of violence interrupter stuff. We had this hot and bothered idea that relying 100% on police was not the best way to prevent violence. And instead, what we've had is this sort of kind of buddy little you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours group of people getting millions of dollars in funding, where even the people working for the city of Minneapolis who've been trying to track this stuff have had a hard time really having full idea as to whether this works or whether it doesn't. Scandal. To me, it's a scandal. Conflict of interest, helping out your buddies, not being straightforward, drip, 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 drip. More information comes out. Scandal, right? No doubt a scandal. The second one I'm not so sure about. The second one has ingredients of scandal that get people fired up, right? Secret recording. I've uncovered a secret recording of the Attorney General. This is about the Feeding Our Future scandal. It has been widely reported, we've talked about it, how many of the people involved and convicted of fraud in the Feeding Our Future scandal have been people who have been connected to the sphere of Democratic politicians. Whether they're kind of phony hangers-on, whether they're people who are trying to work the system politically by making donations. We were first alerted to this recording at the Center for the American Experiment, which is a right-wing think tank, that they had uncovered and shared this recording. And it was part of the evidence file of the Feeding Our Future legal case, but prosecutors didn't use it in court. What the recording shows, and what you'll hear as we play a little bit of a report that Channel 5 did last night, is you'll hear the Attorney General meeting with people who were later involved in Feeding Our Future. Now, listen to this report, and you tell me, scandal or not a scandal?
Attorney General Keith Ellison's pushing back against accusations from a conservative organization claiming he tried to protect defendants in the Feeding Our Future scandal. The Center of the American Experiment posted audio of a secret recording of Ellison from 2021. It was not introduced as evidence at the Feeding Our Future trial in federal court. In the audio of a meeting with East African business people, some of whom later ended up charged in that case, Ellison can be heard saying he would try to help them as state agencies try to shut them down.
This has my attention. I'm extremely frustrated by it, but we are in the middle of a battle with the agencies now. And I can tell you this, Walls agrees with me that this piddly, stupid stuff running small people out of business is terrible.
So let's pause it right there. So that is a part of the audio. And if you just take that from a social media post or from reading a headline, sounds pretty bad, right? Here's Keith Ellison meeting with people who were convicted or pled guilty for their role in the largest COVID-related fraud in America that's been discovered. And when I first heard it, I'm like, man, this sounds pretty bad. I don't think this is a scandal. I think this is sort of trying to stick it to Ellison when what he did was he had a meeting with a guy. And this was from 2021. So this was at a time where there was a little bit of stink around the Feeding Our Future, but Ellison has said, well, I didn't know that we were kind of involved with the Department of Education and involved because the Attorney General's office, and they sent me a statement. They said, well, the Attorney General regularly meets with constituents, hears their concerns in good faith. He was asked to sit down with a friend that day. When the Attorney General arrived, he was surprised to find others present, but agreed to meet with them. Feeding Our Future was raided by the FBI in January of 2022. Now, the only thing where there are questions here is about timeline, because Keith Ellison has said, part of what happened here is that Minnesota, the whole elected official structure, has tried to say we're on top of this. BS. They were not. They weren't. The Democrats have tried to say all along that we knew about it. We notified the FBI. We got the feds involved. We were doing what we could. At this moment, now today, the Attorney General, who had said, well, we spent 2 years investigating it. So if his office spent 2 years investigating it, his office was investigating Feeding Our Future when he had this conversation with these guys. And so you say, well, now you're saying you didn't know? You were saying that you were investigating at that time. I do think it's believable that the Attorney General himself would not know about every single investigation that's going on in his office, especially if he was sort of ambushed and surprised by these guys. It's not like he would have been prepared and like, hey, are we involved in anything with these guys? But I also think, like, classic politician style, by saying we were on this for 2 years, what he really meant was like, well, there was some sort of procedural stuff that our office was involved in. And, I think the scandal is trying to take credit for being more on top of this than they were. For me, this is stuff that we all really sort of knew. So hearing him on tape, kind of buddying up to people who ended up involved in something. Well, one of the guys he was on tape with was the owner of Safari Restaurant. I have spent the past 15 years as a food critic. I've been to Safari Restaurant. I've met the owner. I've probably taken a picture with the guy. So are you going to show this picture and be like, well, DeRusha's buddy with a fraudster? Well, I don't know, man. Like, we want our elected officials to meet with people. And to me, I just don't see the scandal. For me, it's a no. Texters are saying, I don't like Keith Ellison, and he looks very weak trying to placate these people, but it's not a scandal. Another texter, you don't believe your ears? Enough of the DFL enabling fraud. The Center of the American Experiment is the only organization that looks after taxpayers. I mean, come on. Like, do I think they're lying? No. I think they're trying to draw connections here that for me are not there. Maybe you feel differently. That's why I bring it up and we talk about it. It's the difference between something that has a little bit of stink behind it and you can kind of make a deal out of it. And does this have a little stink about it? Yeah. Should Keith Ellison answer questions beyond just a statement? Yeah, we invited him on the show. And the Attorney General's office is saying, despite the Center of the American Experiment's best efforts to smear Attorney General Ellison for partisan political reasons. Well, yeah, that's 100% what the Center for the American Experiment is trying to do. And sometimes when you're intentionally trying to smear someone for political purposes, you're also right. In this case, I don't see the stink. One scandal, yes. The other one, look, there's plenty of things to say that the current DFL administration did not do when it comes to preventing fraud and responding to fraud. Do we need this? Is this what puts it over the edge? To me, this is sort of a nothing. 348, your feedback always welcome. Jason@Odyssey.com is our email. You can text us at 651-461-9226. When we come back, things that happen to you as an adult that make you feel like a teenager. Something happened to me today. I'll talk about it next.
Jason DeRusha returns shortly with more of Drive Time on News Talk 830 WCCO.
This morning, the doorbell rings. I open the door and there's ProTurf. Oh, the crabgrass preventer is down. The lawn is already starting to green up because my ProTurf tech gave me a little bit of advice saying I should cut my lawn shorter, like 1 or 2 notches lower than last fall, as soon as the lawn is dry. I did it, and it's greening up fast because the sun is warming that soil a little faster than if I did nothing. ProTurf was amazing at designing a solution for my yard last year, preventing weeds, greening up that grass. They designed it just for you because they come to your house and do an in-person estimate. That is rare. Usually people are using Google Maps, mapping out your property. They come out and dump a bunch of chemicals on your yard, not ProTurf. They use the best of the liquid, the best of the granule, designed a solution just for you. 952-469-8680. Susie Jones just told me she's got the ProTurf team taking care of her lawn. They'll turn on your irrigation system, too. They're doing appointments for that right now. So get on the book so you can have a tech out. Make sure they identify any leaks or problems so you're not wasting water and wasting money. 952-469-8680. ProfessionalTurf.com.
By the Yard is celebrating 30 years of building maintenance-free outdoor furniture you can count on. During their anniversary sale, now through April 19th, you'll save even more at a time when prices everywhere else are going up. Everything is built to order in Minnesota, backed by a 35-year warranty and made to last. Visit Woodbury, Maple Grove, or Jordan, or shop online at buytheyard.net. With By the Yard, life is better outdoor.
Construction problems come with challenges, but legal issues shouldn't be one of them. At Helmuth & Johnson, we focus on construction law, protecting contractors, developers, and business owners from costly disputes. From contract negotiations to litigation and compliance, we make sure your projects stay on track and your interests stay protected. Whether it's a delay, dispute, or a deal, we've got you covered. Visit hjlawfirm.com. That's hjlawfirm.com. Helmuth & Johnson, on your side, at your side.
Hi, Denny Long here. Join us every Saturday for the Home Improvement Show by Lindis Construction. Andy Lindis and I will be taking your home improvement questions both by phone and by text every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock here on News Talk 830 WCCO.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at tra.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Traffic brought to you by American Rare Coin and Collectibles. Find them at AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com. Look out for a crash on 62 eastbound between Tracy Avenue and 100. Traffic is getting by in the left lane only. We've got EMS on scene and people walking around on the roadway, so plan for a major delay and use caution. When a loved one passes or it's time to settle an estate, the valuables left behind can feel overwhelming. At American Rare Coin and Collectibles in Bloomington, we help navigate these moments with clarity and care. Peace of mind starts with your appointment. AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com. I'm Tina Marie on News Talk 830 WCCO.
The face of Minnesota veterans is changing. For the centennial year celebration, DAV of Minnesota invites you to join the ongoing effort to fulfill promises made to the men and women who served our great state and nation. Donate today at davmn.org.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Kind of an uneventful weather forecast, although some rain coming in maybe on Thursday. Tonight, clear, low at 34. Tomorrow, we get up to 60. Those rain showers Thursday, early Friday, Saturday and Sunday should be dry. Right now, it is 53 on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DERUSHA.
He does an incredible job, and he's not only a great announcer, but an even better person. So,
Wow.
DERUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Lots of texts about our last topic. From the positive viewpoint, there are some of you who think, as in any large sting operations, they let the suspects commit crimes to get the good evidence. I think that's sort of what the Walz administration wants you to believe. On the other end, Jason, you're out of your mind if you think the AG wasn't in on all of this. I think the truth is in between there. I think the truth is they did not take these allegations seriously. And they were afraid by the accusation that by looking into it, they were racist. And I think that 1-2 punch sort of screwed them and us. So that's sort of my view on this. We'll see as more information comes out. But this tape, to me, is not the scandal. So things happen in life that make you feel like a teenager again. And today I was shaving and I just sliced the heck out of my neck. And now, Dan, do you shave your head? Do you shave the top of your head?
Yeah, there's a few stragglers up there, so I gotta.
Sometimes you gotta do it. Do you ever cut yourself shaving?
Not really. No.
Not really. Do you clean up around the beard?
I do, yes.
And do you ever cut yourself there?
I mean, not really.
Okay, so I clearly have a problem.
Sorry.
So I don't know if you can see it. Like I cut myself right on the Adam's apple, like right on the neck.
No, it doesn't really show.
Now I had a time. So this happens to me like more often than I think is necessary. There are two things for me as a guy that make me feel like a teenager in a bad way as an adult. One, cutting yourself shaving. Does that happen today? And then the blood's coming and you're like, if you put tissue there, then you accidentally leave the house with tissue on,
and you look like a dad from the 1940s.
Do you remember, like, there was a video that I was in, a social media video where that was, where they didn't even tell me, like, there's this big old, so I use a little chapstick, pop it right over, and usually it
seals it right up?
Seals it right up.
Okay. That or super glue, whatever you need.
The other thing is a zit. When you,
I still struggle with for sure.
They lied to us.
Yeah, they did.
Like when we were teenagers.
Just get through puberty, you'll be fine.
It'll all clear up.
Lies, all lies.
There are times that I want to feel like a teenager, but I don't know what the equivalent are for women. What are your text in at 651-461-9226. But for me, it's the cutting yourself shaving and it's the pimple.
I want to diagnose this as quickly as we can in the few remaining seconds we have. Do you feel like you go cheap on the razors or on the shaving cream?
I use like they call it a safety razor, which is the dumbest name.
Yeah, well, when you're cutting yourself, yeah, it does.
But I use like a single blade. Sometimes if I use it too often, it's a little dull, and then I cut myself.
Do you perhaps need to do more preparation before you get to the shaving portion of the experience?
Clearly, I'm doing something.
Some sort of pre-shave thing?
I mean, the good news is like smooth as a baby's bottom here. Like just absolutely stunning.
Hi, it's Vanita, and we know how great the John Schuster Group is, but it's wonderful to hear from people who have benefited from that relationship. One of them is Ray from Minnetonka. Ray, thanks so much for joining us. Why did you choose the John Schuster Group?
At our first meeting with Tim and Abby Lehman, we clicked right away.
What was your experience like selling your home with the John Schuster Group?
It was incredibly simple. Our first day on the market, we got our first offer, and I was like, wow, we did get multiple offers, but we went with the first offer we got on Friday.
Okay, bottom line, why should every WCCO listener contact the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty, when it's time to move?
From the moment they walked into our home, We had nothing to worry about with them. We're just beyond our expectations. We just can't thank them enough.
952-222-9000 online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
More than just news. It's the why behind the headlines. News Talk 830 WCCO. 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Matt Piper. A hearing is still underway at this hour for Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man mistakenly deported to El Salvador. It's a follow-up after a judge ordered the Trump administration to provide her with updates on his whereabouts. His wife, Jennifer, spoke outside court.
Even though my heart is heavy, I find hope and strength in those around me.
The Justice Department now says it will facilitate his return if he arrives at a port and then would deport him to another country. CBS's Katrina Kaufman.
We haven't yet seen anyone held responsible in any of these cases. We haven't reached that level of contempt, but there is deep concern here. We are seeing actions taken that many legal scholars say potentially violate the Constitution.
President Trump has issued a new threat to Harvard, dropping its tax-exempt status. It comes after the administration froze $2.2 billion in grant funding for the school. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says it's over alleged anti-Semitic incidents on campus.
The university failed to impose formal discipline on any students for this anti-Semitic conduct violations, including the occupation of a campus building and the disruption of classes with bullhorns. The president believes Harvard should apologize to its Jewish American students for allowing such egregious behavior.
The administration has threatened other schools recently too, including Cornell, Northwestern, and Brown. The University of Michigan last month closed its DEI office, citing executive orders from the president. The tit-for-tat tariffs continues. Bloomberg reporting that the Chinese government is halting deliveries of Boeing jets and telling carriers to stop buying airline parts from U.S. companies. CBS's Kelly O'Grady says it may be just the beginning of hitting the U.S. where it hurts.
What other companies are they going to go after? Big iconic brands there, Starbucks, Nike, Disney. I mean, all of them have a huge, huge market in China where a lot of their revenue comes from. So you could start to see China play this game, not just retaliatory tariffs, but going after companies that are critical to the American economy, and also CEOs that might start to speak up and say, hey, this is not working for us.
Jury selection is underway in the retrial of Harvey Weinstein, with some potential jurors admitting they could not be fair. He's being retried after his 2020 conviction was overturned last year. Lindsay Goldberg is an attorney for one of the accusers.
As she has told me her experience, and again told the DA her experiences, one thing has been crystal clear, that this was not consensual.
The tax deadline is here, 11:59 tonight in your local time zone. You can apply for an extension of October 15th. This is CBS News.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at progressive.com.
Now from Minnesota's radio station, let's get you caught up with Minnesota's latest headlines and biggest stories on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Fair skies, 54 degrees now at 4:03. Good afternoon. I'm Susie Jones. The hour's top story: charges have been filed against the man who was arrested in Minnetonka outside United Healthcare headquarters after allegedly making violent threats.
26-year-old Ian Wagner faces charges of illegal possession of a firearm and threats of violence after police were called to the healthcare campus on Monday to reports of Wagner threatening to shoot up the building. Authorities say he was known to police and has a past of mental health challenges and harassing behavior. A search of his vehicle turned up a .38 caliber revolver with 5 rounds of live ammunition. Charging documents also show Wagner was facing previous charges of violating his parole and a restraining order, and then he allegedly called 911 before the incident, threatening that if his previous charges weren't dropped, he would start shooting. He's set to make his first court appearance tomorrow in Hennepin County.
That's Taylor Rivera reporting. Local Medicaid recipients are speaking out against proposed cuts to the program in Minnesota and around the country. Federal government looking at cutting about $880 million from Medicare, which includes an annual loss of about $1.6 billion. In Minnesota, Medicaid recipient Linda Fess.
My doctors found out that I had a congenital heart defect. And my life was saved because I had access to health care. Otherwise, I wonder if I would have thought, maybe this is just a cold, and I would have kept going and going, and something drastic could have happened. So I feel very strongly about this. Everyone needs access to health care.
She says that kind of funds loss would impact insurance coverage for more than 600,000 children in the state. Minnesota Congresswoman Angie Craig says she'll host an in-person town hall meeting in each of the districts held by Republican members of Congress. She told WCCO Radio's Vanita Sakar she's not announcing just yet if she'll run for Senate, as the retiring Tina Smith sets to leave office.
At the end of the day, Republicans are gunning for this seat and a lot of seats across Minnesota right now, and the state's moving right, not left. So we got to do everything we can to hold this Senate seat.
Craig announcing today through her campaign, it's raised $1.2 million the first quarter of the year. That is the most she's ever raised in one quarter. And finally, 8 Republicans are on today's special primary election ballot to fill a vacancy in the Minnesota Senate, District 6. The special election follows Justin Eichhorn's resignation from his Senate seat after he was arrested and charged federally with attempting to solicit a minor for sex. The Republican winner will go on to face Democrat Denise Slippy on April 29th. WCCO News Time is 4:06.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
This traffic update is being brought to you by Linda's Construction, lindasconstruction.com. We've got a bottleneck situation on 62 eastbound between Tracy Avenue and 100. This is blocking the right lane with EMS on scene. Traffic is stop and go and getting by in the left lane only. April is a great time to call Linda's Construction. You can get free installation labor on quality Leaf Guard brand gutters and siding. I'm Tina Marie on News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Brought to you by Gutman Law, Wills, Trust, and Probate Law. GutmanLaw.com. Here is WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
We'll be mainly clear tonight and pretty chilly tomorrow morning, falling back to 34. The wind will finally settle down, only to pick up again tomorrow. Partly cloudy and warmer with a high of 60 on a breezy day. Rain showers return on Thursday. Might hear a few rumbles of thunder, especially down in southern Minnesota.
Thanks, Chris. Right now, we have fair skies and 54 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
We cover the headlines, break down the hot takes, and let you have a voice. News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie, just DERUSHA. It's Drive Time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise.
I'm super excited to introduce to you
Jason DERUSHA.
Think the Star Tribune heard me? They just published a story on the audio recording in Keith Ellison. So there you know, listen to Drive Time. We're out in front of it. We're trying to do our best. Let's reverse it, though, and talk about something I read in this morning's Star Tribune. Because I do not understand why the state of Minnesota is spending any tax dollars to subsidize public school, private. Well, I was all fired up and then just messed it up. I do not understand why the state of Minnesota is spending any tax dollars to subsidize private schools. I was surprised to learn that we were doing it. The state right now is going through their budget, trying to find ways to cut. Nobody wants to cut anything. This is typical, right? Like everything is good. No one wants to cut anything. So you end up with these sort of little-ish cuts that have an outsized impact on the people who are the recipients of the cut. Would you expect taxpayer dollars to go to pay for busing, for example, or counseling or any of the other stuff that happens at a private school? 651-461-9226. We have been doing this in Minnesota since 1969. The governor wants to cut $100 million of subsidies that go to private schools. I was surprised we'd give private schools a dime. Now, I'm very in favor of private schools. You know, if you look at the incredible work that some of our private schools are doing, and I'm not just talking about the Blakes and the Brecks and sort of the blue blood schools that you hear about. I'm talking about the, small town Catholic schools, schools like Cristo Rey, which is a Jesuit-run school in the heart of Minneapolis, where about 75% of the students are in homes where multiple languages are being spoken. So it's a large Latino population at Cristo Rey Jesuit High School. But the reality is, if you choose to go to a private school, which often comes at big sacrifice, not everybody's like the richy rich, sending their kids off to the fancy school. Like, people are sacrificing. I get it. But that is your choice. If we as a state are looking to cut money out of the budget, I got to be honest, like I'm not upset at the idea of eliminating non-public pupil aid. Why are we funding the private schools? 651-461-9226. I've seen friends who are Republicans and friends who are Democrats all upset about this, because if this is your kid's school, you're going to be mad about it. But to me, like, you got to fund the public schools. If you make a sacrifice, even if that sacrifice is to go to a religiously affiliated school, a private school in a small town, a fancy, and these private schools are great. I mean, unbelievable. Some of the individualized options you have, some of the extra attention you get for kids who have various needs, right? Like, I have a friend who has sacrificed huge. This family has sacrificed huge to send her kid to a private school because he was struggling in a larger classroom. But should our tax dollars be going to pay for that? There's a state law that guarantees free transportation to non-public school students. And at St. John Paul II Catholic School in Northeast Minneapolis, from the Star Tribune story, the principal said if the state aid went away, we'd lose most of these kids. Now, we can have a conversation about, should there be vouchers? Should there be more robust school choice? Should there be, all of these things? To me, that's a different conversation. We do not have that today. And so why are we funding transportation? It just doesn't make sense to me. 651, and maybe you can enlighten me on why this makes sense. 651-461-9226. Private schools don't have the funding for extra attention for kids with special needs. As many private schools in the Twin Cities are high in scholarship ratio. So they need counselors, says a texter. Well, to me, like the other option is send your kid to public school. Tony's in Victoria on the CCO Talk and Text line. Tony, thanks for calling in. What do you want to say?
Hey, Jason, can you hear me?
Yes, you are on the air. Sounds
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, just a couple comments on the topic. Great topic. Just found out about this issue that's going on in the legislature. And I do have 5 children in private school right now in the western suburbs. We definitely make a sacrifice.
Yes, you do.
For purposes.
Amazing.
We sure do. And you know, so just a quick comment on thinking about that and what it takes to the tuition involved with Catholic schools is much lower than what it takes to educate someone in the public school. I can't remember the number for public schools. It's around $10,000 or $11,000 per pupil, if I'm correct. That's maybe a little high, but not too high. Where my Catholic school tuition is at about $6,700 and arguably a better education. So you know, one incentive to you know, a nice little perk is to have that busing available for my child to go to Catholic school with that tuition. But then I'm also I'm paying for public school as well for those kids at $10,000, $11,000. So just to comment that you know, the funding of those private schools is important to the state for those families that need that income. That little bit of help with the busing would go a long way, and it is saving the taxpayer dollars. It's less money to go to those private schools.
That's actually a compelling argument, Tony, because if you're that $15,000 or the $11,000 or whatever the number would be, if you're not sending that money to the public school, then siphoning off $500 or $1,000 to subsidize busing, you're still coming out ahead. Interesting.
That's right.
All right. Very good.
That's right.
Good stuff. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate that. Let's go to Jenny on line 3. Jenny, you're on CCO. Thanks for calling in.
Yep. Hello.
Go ahead.
So I guess I'm just, as you're discussing this, I'm thinking, isn't each student considered whether they're private or public,
right?
And we pay our taxes as parents for our children. And I don't understand why, if they go to private, that they shouldn't get a benefit of being a member of Minnesota.
Yeah. Well, because you're choosing to go to a private school, right? So you have the public school as an option. We're still paying for the public school to be there, whether your kid's going to a private school or public school. So in a time, the cost of the school is still there. You know what I mean? Like, just because your student is going somewhere else doesn't mean that the cost of having that building and being a part of the city and being a part of your neighborhood, like that cost is still there for society.
Right. So that's why I feel that even if they're going to private, they should get some benefit for their education. Being a member of Minnesota and their parents are paying taxes for education, whether it be, well, they're actually paying more because I'm sure they're paying their taxes for public education.
Right.
Plus, now they're paying for their private education. So just as an individual student, I still don't understand why they're not entitled to something for their education, be it a bus route, be it a book, be it a Chromebook. They still should be able to count on our state to help their education.
Yeah,
Whether,
I'm just not sure.
Private.
I'm just not sure I agree, Jenny, because you're still paying for school taxes if you don't have any kids and you get no benefit. It's not
right.
So why would you, as someone choosing to send to a private school, why would you have some benefit when, say, like, you're somebody who has no kids, you're still paying in for the education taxes. You don't get, like, should you get some kind of benefit too? That's just not how it works. Like, the funding goes to the school.
No, I think unfortunately some couples are unable to have children, and I feel for them if that's their desire to have children. But how do you make a valid point when we as a community of citizens within Minnesota cooperatively pay our taxes as a group for the end result of giving education to our children?
Yeah. Very good.
I
get where,
yeah,
I get where you're coming from, Jenny. I appreciate it. 651.
Well, it is about community.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and what Jenny is making a case for is more of a voucher-based system where you can go wherever you want, which to me is a different, like, we don't have that. So when we don't have that, I don't think we should be subsidizing private school. Lots of callers. We'll hear more from you. 651-461-9226 on CCO.
Drive Time with DERUSHA is back after this on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hey, it's Jason here for my friend Chris Lindahl. And as the weather warms up, the home selling season warms up too. I was talking to Chris about this the other day, and he said, look, the reality is there's so much uncertainty in the market, and people who are looking to sell their home quickly are looking for options like the guaranteed cash offer. Because the uncertainty on how long is your house going to be on the market? What kind of upgrades are people going to be looking for? What is the interest rate environment going to be? Are you going to be able to get an inspection? All of this stuff. Chris Lindahl says, look, you go to Chris Lindahl Real Estate at chrislindahl.com. You get a guaranteed cash offer. You don't have to deal with any of that. Guaranteed cash offer is so much faster than cleaning up your house to list it, doing upgrades, spending money. You don't know if it's going to work out. Guaranteed cash offer is a certainty. It'll get you to closing day. It'll get you there with cash. You will sell. You will pick your closing date. You will pick your moving date. I trust Chris Lindahl. I trust the #1 real estate team. You should too. 4,000 plus 5-star reviews and 30,000 people have done the guaranteed cash offer. Find out what it can do for you at chrislindahl.com or 763-401-SOLD. Terms and conditions may apply.
Financial advice should be holistic and tailored to your life. I'm Ryan Antkowiak, financial advisor with Baird Private Wealth Management and the president of the Financial Planning Association of Minnesota. At Baird, we provide investment and financial planning advice for all areas of your life: family, retirement, estate planning, and charitable giving. Plus, we coordinate with your tax and legal advisors to ensure you have one comprehensive financial plan that makes sense for you. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdTwinCities.com.
Accidents don't follow a playbook, but Postman Law has the winning strategy. We've helped clients recover over $3 billion by delivering personal attention and real results. Call 844-POSTMAN today, because when life throws you a curve, Postman delivers the compensation you deserve. Offices, Minneapolis.
Imagine placing an investment or trade without fear. Knowing that big institutions have taken the same trade as you, pushing the price higher, which only they can do. You get to ride the wave of institutional demand. If not, your plan will protect you from the downside. This is how our students are taught to invest in trade. Right now, you can sign up for a free investing class where we'll outline our strategy for following the smart money. Text investing to 210-210. We'll also review strategies for growing a retirement portfolio, how professionals profit when stocks are falling, and how to protect your investments against inflation. With a 25-year history, local classrooms, and one-on-one support, you're not alone. And now it's your turn. Sign up for a free investing class today. Text investing to 210-210 or go to learnwithota.com.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad. Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 20% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
You're listening to Drive Time with DERUSHA. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Tons of reaction on this issue of state funding of private schools. $109 million over 2 years. So you're talking about $55 million a year. When you have a potential $6 billion deficit in the next biennium, I'm not sure that $109 million, but $109 million here, $109 million there, and you're getting somewhere. Busing is part of it. It goes to textbooks, nurses, and guidance counselors. So that all directed to private schools. I was surprised to learn it, and I don't really like it. Let's go to Joel in his car on the CCO Talk and Text line. Joel, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Jason, good afternoon. Coming in from work and having survived to Tina Gray's high school in the 80s and seeing my parents working both jobs and being a latchkey kid, I disappointed that I wasn't able to have kids, but I understand the idea of the voucher. I am grateful that wish that I had had the choice. I could have been chosen not to have to go to private school. I find a lot of what we talk about in the benefits of private school, maybe parochial school specifically, because I also was a substitute teacher at Blake and Breck.
Yep.
Two of the most wonderful schools I've ever subbed at.
They're amazing.
All
three of those schools are phenomenal.
I see a night. But I've got the idea of the Catholicism being an overriding factor at TG. Bless them for being what they are. My issue is that all the help and all the benefits that I had hoped to get, I never got. They looked at all the A students and gave them the support that they needed. And those of us like myself who got diddly squat.
You felt a little left
radio.
behind. Yeah.
I'm using the term diddly squat for you guys.
It's good. We appreciate that. But you felt like you didn't quite get the value out of it. Do you think tax dollars should go?
Absolutely not.
Should tax dollars go to this stuff?
If equilateral tax dollars goes to places, and as a sub teacher who was at Blake and Breck and saw some amazing students over there whose parents were struggling just to get them in that school. If there was an equilateral, and knowing that, and please forgive me for all the guys who are going to the Catholic schools and the Lutheran schools and the Judean faith schools, if there was equilateral money going equally to everybody so no one gets left out, heck yeah, absolutely.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Joel. Sally in Burnsville. Sally, it's your turn. Thanks for calling CCO. How do you feel about taxpayer dollars going to pay for private school busing and textbooks and nurses and that sort of stuff?
Well, I used to be a teacher in the district, and I will tell you that, and things may have changed, but back when I was teaching, if you had a gifted child at a private school that did not offer any gifted services, those kids would be taken in and be bused to a public school. To receive those services. Same with remedial services as well. And also, if you did not have sports in that school, you were going to the public school as well for just the sport aspect of it. So I feel like the public schools are doing their very best they can to accommodate the private schools. Also, I've had some good friends who, sent their kids to private schools, love the experience, but also, their tuition was also compensated not by public schools, but by the private school themselves to help make the
scholarships
the
and
financial
stuff like that. Yeah.
right. So, it's
So where do you
I
come
think
down on that tax dollar? I was surprised to know that my tax dollars are paying for kids to take the bus to a private school.
Well, actually, I think that I'm not for it. I think that we do a lot already for private schools that a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah.
And I guess a bus thing isn't going to break or make it or break it for me. But, people don't realize what the public schools have to do for a private school. If the private, in fact, a kid, they're as entitled to those public school services, even though they go to a private school.
That's right. Good, Sally. Thank you. Yes. That is where you say, now look, we could say, is this really that much money? Are we really going to save that? A texter says, look, taxpayers have been subsidizing private corporations for decades. What's a couple million more for the children? And indeed, there's some fairness to that. But the reason you subsidize private companies is for jobs or for economic development or for whatever, for policy considerations. Is there a public policy benefit of subsidizing private schools when you have the public school? People are making a choice. I am not saying it's just rich people. I'm just saying people are making a choice. And the money doesn't follow you and your individual choice. The money follows the public school system. It's 4:30. We'll see. I mean, you think the legislature is going to get this done? Who knows? We'll break. DERUSHA Eats when we come back. I am so excited to talk with a 7th generation pig farmer. Maddie Hokanson is in next. I have so many questions about the impact of tariffs, about the environmental efforts that our farmers are making to try to take care of their land, stuff that I talk about all the time here on the air. So we'll do that with Maddie in just a minute here on CCO.
We need a quick pit stop. Then Jason DeRusha continues on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hey, it's Jason DeRusha here from my friends at Tureen Dermatology. And just this morning, I was talking with Dr. Mohiba Tureen, and what a month the Tureens have had because they are opening 2 brand new locations. 9 Tureen Dermatologies. They are now open in Lakeville. They are now open in Lindstrom. This is unbelievable. When you think that Tureen Dermatology started as one clinic in Roseville, and it's grown and grown, and now they're in Eagan and Monticello, and they're in Hudson. And why are they all over the place? It's because Dr. Tureen has created an environment that people love. She has created a team that people love to see. The big benefit for you is, 1, there's a Tureen Dermatology close to your house. 2, you can get in within 3 weeks. If you go online to Tureen Dermat, and you've tried to get a dermatology appointment before, sometimes it could take 3 or 6 months. 3 weeks, you're in. TureenDermatology.com, TAREEN dermatology.com. Go to that website, make an appointment today. Make sure you tell them you heard about it here on Drive Time.
Wouldn't it be great if life had a rewind button? Missed your exit? Rewind. Accidentally hit reply all? Rewind. Spill your coffee? Rewind. Unfortunately, life doesn't work this way, but we do. Miss that breaking news update? Rewind. Want to hear the walk-off home run call again? Rewind. Did Chad say what I think he just said? Rewind. With the Odyssey app, you can pause, rewind, and replay the moments you missed. Live when you want it, rewind when you need it. News Talk 830 WCCO on the free Odyssey app.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your card today at carsforkids.org.
Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. No title? No problem. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or go online at carsforkids.org to donate today.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
If you have trees to trim or need tree removal, call an ISA certified arborist. Call the CCO Land Company I use. B&M Tree Service, 1-800-569-9034, or get on the web, bnmtree.com.
Hi, Ryan O'Neill with the Minnesota Real Estate Team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus. Our team is here to help you with any real estate questions you may have about buying, selling, or investing. Our approach is simple. We focus on you and your best interests. No hard sales pitch, rush, or pressure. We work on your timeline. 612-294-6949, mnrealestateshow.com. That's 612-294-6949.
Hi, I'm Adam Saba, third generation at Dodge of Burnsville. As a business owner, you need commercial vehicles that have the power you need, room for your gear, and service you can count on. Let me introduce you to Business Link at Dodge of Burnsville. We have a complete line of commercial vehicles to get you and your crew on the job, and an award-winning service department that is second to none and gives you peace of mind. Stop in today and see why nobody sells more commercial Ram trucks than Dodge of Burnsville. That's why we are the King of Ram, just off Cliff Road and 35W or kingofram.com.
Jim Clark, a.k.a. Check-A-Pro Joe here. Tune in this Saturday at 11:30 a.m. for my show, the Check-A-Pro Radio Show. My expert guest this week is A1 Garage Door Service. For more information, go to checkapro.com.
Advent is now open in Eden Prairie. Find out more at adventknows.com.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Watch for a crash on 169 southbound between 55 and 394. This is causing about a 10-minute delay in both directions. We've got a stalled vehicle on 35W northbound at the entrance ramp from County E2. This is blocking the median between the ramp and the right lane of the freeway. I'm Tina Marie on News Talk 830 WCCO.
At Newgate School, we turn donated cars into success stories. For 49 years, we've helped underserved young adults in the Twin Cities learn automotive repair skills with zero tuition. Your vehicle donation can teach, fund, and also provide reliable transportation for single moms. Learn more at newgateschool.org.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Weather is brought to you by Newgate School, which changes lives for over 45 years. Let's check in with Chris Schaefer.
A chilly night tonight as we fall back to 34. At least the wind finally backs off. Now, it will be breezy again tomorrow, but warmer. Partly cloudy with a high of 60. We start out dry on Thursday, but rain showers move in. A few non-severe thunderstorms are possible in southern Minnesota with a high of 64.
Right now, it is pretty windy out there. It is 52 degrees in Woodbury here on CCO.
Jason DeRusha
He is a national treasure. Like, we need that guy in our life.
on News Talk 830 WCCO.
DeRusha, he has the eats.
Nobody brings you the Twin Cities restaurant scene like our favorite foodie. Now, Jason explores some of the great chefs, owners, and stories right in our own backyard as DriveTime transitions into DeRusha Eats.
And DeRusha Eats is brought to you by the Minnesota Pork Board and Surdix Liquor and Cheese Shop. You guys hear me talk about pork on this show all the time, but I love the opportunity to bring in a Minnesota pig farmer who can talk about the reality on the farm. The reality of farm life has certainly been in the news here in Minnesota with discussion about tariffs and exports. And Maddie Hokanson is here to talk a little bit about life on the farm. 7th generation, is that right, Maddie?
Absolutely, yes. We've been running since 1886, and I, along with my brother Max, are the 7th generation of the farm.
That is crazy. When you were, now your farm is like near Goodhue, right?
Yep, we're in Goodhue County. We're just about 6 miles away from the Mississippi.
When you were like, you're pretty young still. How young are you?
Still in my 20s.
You're still
We'll
in your
go with
20s.
that.
So when you were, she says, oh, well, I don't want to give my exact age. I just turned 50, Maddie. Like I'm in full on midlife crisis. So you're in your 20s. When you were a teenager, did you know that you were going to do farm life, or did you think like, oh, I'm going to do whatever?
I think I knew for a long time that I wanted to do agriculture life. And then by the time I went to college and got to about my second year, then I knew I wanted to come home to the farm and actually raise a family on the farm, as opposed to just saying I grew up on a farm.
You grew up, yeah.
And really proud to be back doing that full time and doing that along with raising my boys at home.
You're the CFO of Schaefer Farms.
Yes, I am. So that, and being a small to mid-sized farm, that is everything at the top to everything at the bottom of the finances. So don't let the title deceive you, but I run anything, numbers and money, accounting, bookkeeping, all those things.
You know, I wanted to ask you about exports and the tariff situation, because I don't know if people realize how, you know, people's perceptions about pig farming are all over the place. You're either giant factory farms or you're this cute, like, life on the farm. And the truth, I think, it's like in between that. But pig farming is a huge export and a huge part of Minnesota life. I'm sure it's part of your life, right?
Yeah. Exports play a huge piece in our industry in pig farming. Minnesota pig farmers, 100% of family farms or of farms in Minnesota are family owned.
Family, yeah.
Yes, and
that surprises a lot of people.
Yeah, it does, and that's 100% of them are in Minnesota, and we're really proud of that. And no matter if you have 3 pigs or you have 300 or 300,000 pigs, it's still a family, regardless of if there's more employees that are doing it or if it's just you as family members doing it. It takes the care of those individuals, no matter how many individuals it is.
I love that.
It's still a family-run business.
Are you guys worried about, like, as far as whether demand for Minnesota pork overseas might dry up because of extra tariffs or costs?
So it's really, tariffs are a sticky subject, and they're really important. Tariffs, exports account for 25% of the value of a pig out the door in the United States. So it's about $66 per pig goes overseas, and that without exports, that goes away. And tariffs can pose a barrier to that. I think it's really important that we have open trade, that we have exports available, and that we have exports that are stable. So that way that can help to enhance our market rather than diminishing it.
Is there a country that surprises you that you send Minnesota pork to?
Well, our 2 biggest are Mexico and Canada, which makes sense since they're our north and south neighbors.
And we have the expertise. I mean, 7 generations of doing it. Like, obviously, your ability to raise a delicious, healthy, safe animal is going to be different than somebody in Canada or Mexico.
Yeah, well, I think both our neighbors do a great job of raising their pigs as well. I think here in the U.S.,
you're better. Come on, Maddie, you're better at it.
I think we definitely have a lot of history in it, and we work really hard to make sure that we're taking care of our animals well, that we're taking care of our environment, whether that's our water, our air, our land, and our soil. All those things matter, and we really pay attention to those details each and every day.
How do you do that? Because I think people wonder when people think about pig farming, they just think about the building.
Yeah.
But describe what your farm is like.
Yeah. The building is just the very beginning. That building is how we care for our animals and keep them comfortable when it's negative 20 degrees here in Minnesota, or negative 40 degrees, whatever it gets to, or when it gets to 100 degrees to help keep them cool in the summer. We have pits underneath our barns that store the manure, because obviously any living animal, this got to come out the other end.
You got to go, yeah.
And we store that manure, so it does not go anywhere until we want it to go somewhere. And when we're ready, when the ground tells us that it's time, and when we test our soil for how much nutrient value it needs, then we will apply manure in the right time, in the right amount, onto the right places of land to make sure that that nutrient can be used to help grow corn and soybeans and other crops that then will come back and feed those pigs.
Because you're growing feed.
Yeah. Yep. We're growing feed, whether that's corn, soybeans, some areas of the U.S. and for instance up in Canada, growing wheat and other products that go into the feed that pigs are eating each and every day.
Maddie Hokanson is with us. Goodhue County is where her family's farm is, raising pigs, growing crops. And I think part of what I'm drawn to is the fact that when you have like your family, multi-generations, you also have multi-generations of sort of knowledge about your land, about so this idea that you want to protect the land, like of course you do, because you want the farm passed down to you, and you probably want to pass it down to your 2 kids, right?
Yeah, we see it as a responsibility. It's not a right, it's a privilege to have this land. And if we take good care of it, then it will take good care of us. Like I said, we've been around since 1886, so nearly 140 years. And in that time, we've been able to better the land through our pigs and through our cattle as well, and taking good care of that land, because like I talked about it being close to the Mississippi, we have to be really careful to make sure that the nutrients stay where we want them to be and serve as a resource on our land and don't run off somewhere that we don't want them to be. And that's something that we take very seriously, we take great pride in, and we continue to improve our practices with sound science to make sure that we're doing what's best for the ground while then also still doing what's best for our animals.
Do you think, Maddie, being part of a younger generation where you were brought up with this sort of same global concerns that everybody in their 30s and 20s has, maybe different from my generation or the baby boomers, do you think it does bring a different sensibility, a different urgency to some of these issues?
I would say social media and technology have caused us all to be a little more close-knit in some ways, pulled apart from each other too, but we know what's going on around the world a little bit more than maybe we used to. And with that gives us a responsibility to adapt to what our consumers are asking for. And when somebody in Canada or somebody over in Europe or somebody in Asia says that something is really important to them, whether it's in a way that we raise our animals or the way that we take care of our environment, we have to take that into account and at least consider that and put that into sound science, whether that's through research at a university, through a private institution, and make sure that we can follow through and continue to improve in our practices to be the most sustainable and be good stewards of our land.
Cool. That's cool. All right. We're going to break. When we come back, Easter is this weekend. It's ham season. I want to ask you about, we're getting close to summer and grilling and all of that. So I want to know like what a pig farmer's eating. So we'll talk about that. And
Great
then
question.
I also am curious, today I started preparing my lawn a little bit. I want to know what you guys are doing, like on a daily basis. What do you do out at the farm? So learning a little bit about, when that pork chop shows up in the grocery shop, it starts somewhere. It starts with Maddie Hokanson, her family's farm in Goodhue. DERUSHA Eats, back after this on CC.
Don't touch that dial. More Drive Time with DERUSHA coming up on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I mean, I feel like Maddie should do that. Like, Maddie, if you had 60 seconds to tell everybody listening on CCO about Minnesota pork, like what would you tell?
I think the number one thing is that we care. We care about our animals. We care about our people. We care about the environment, and we work hard every single day to make sure that we're ensuring a safe future for our industry while doing what's right today for our consumers too.
I mean, Maddie's doing so well, like I'm going to get fired is what's going to happen. Why am I going to do these ads if you can do it like that? This is what I say to people, and sometimes they challenge me, but the reality is so many family farmers, 3,000 of them around the state, are just like you, where they are looking at the past and a great legacy and the importance of pig farming to the state of Minnesota, our economy, our way of life. They're looking at the present and saying, what do I need to do today to make sure when people go out to get a pork chop or get bacon, they know it's going to be safe. They know it's going to be reliable. It's going to be high in protein. It's going to be lean and delicious. And then what are we doing for tomorrow to make sure that we're in good shape for the future? It's pretty good.
Yep.
It's not bad. We appreciate you guys.
Oh, we appreciate doing the work for you.
So keep it up. And the best thing you can do to say thank you and support this way of life is go to your grocery store and go to your butcher shop and say, let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight. Now, do you hear? Sometimes I say, oh, yeah, at the end of these. Can you give me like an, oh, yeah? Maddie.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. There it is.
We're gonna win, we're gonna score.
If you've inherited valuable coins, gold, silver, or jewelry, where do you turn? American Rare Coin and Collectibles in Bloomington is the trusted choice. For over 30 years, families, trustees, and advisors have relied on American Rare Coin to evaluate and purchase valuable coin and precious metals collections with honesty, transparency, and immediate payment. We make the process simple, and we're conveniently located in Bloomington on American Boulevard. For experience and honesty, visit AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com.
You'll feel better, you'll sleep better, and it's all coming to you for free. That's right. Jordana Green here for my friends at Mini Leaf. Mini Leaf products are free shipping all of April. That triple diamond pain cream is perfect for any pain you're having and maybe even any bug bites or a sunburn that you're having. Want to sleep better? Those Sleep Night gummies will definitely do it. Go to MINNELEAF.com. I use these products. They really help me through my cancer recovery. They help me get off my Ambien. Those Sleep Night gummies are a real charm. MINNELEAF.com. That's minileaf.com. Free shipping throughout the month of April. Tell them Jordana sent you when you go to minileaf.com. Free shipping all of April.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
You know how you always want to know about everyone else's money? On the podcast, What We Spend, guests will, for 1 week, tell us everything they spend their money on.
My son slammed $6 worth of blueberries in 5 minutes.
And everything that makes them feel.
I want to own a house. I want to have a child. But this morning, I really wanted a coffee.
Because at the end of the day, money is always about more than your balance. Listen to and follow What We Spend, an Odyssey original podcast. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
At California Psychics, we know that when you haven't found love, it feels like everyone else has. Every movie has a love interest. Every song is a love song. Where are all the songs about cats? Or the joy of early bedtimes? And of course, the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find the one. We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Traffic is brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Shop in-store or online. I'm still watching this situation on 169 southbound between 55 and 394. We've got a crash here. This is causing about a 10-minute delay in both directions. Get Easter favorites at Whole Foods Market. Save 30% on no antibiotics ever bone-in spiral cut pork hams with Prime through April 15th. Carve into this juicy, sweet centerpiece for your celebratory spread. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply. I'm Tina Marie on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Say goodbye to water worries with Kinetico and spring into cleaner, softer, worry-free water flowing from your faucets. Whether it's city or well water, Aquarius and Kinetico have you covered. Schedule your free water analysis at AquariusHomeservices.com today.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Weather's brought to you by Aquarius Home Services. Tonight we get down to 34. Still kind of chilly in the overnight hours. Tomorrow up to 60. Thursday, rain showers, some isolated thunder. High of 64, and then early Friday, some showers as well. Right now, in Goodhue, it is 51 degrees here on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DERUSHA.
I think this is just all a bunch of hullabaloo and a waste of time.
You're not wrong.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Talking about life on the farm with Minnesota pig farmer, Maddie Hokanson. 7th generation Schaefer Farm. Was it your dad, your mom? What are the generations? Who's still around?
Yep. So it would have been my dad, Brandon, and my grandpa Lowell is still around. And then there would have been
But on and on
three
and on.
generations prior to him, or excuse me, 4 generations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right. Before we went to break, it is Easter coming up soon. We are doing ham for dinner. Do you do ham? What do you do for Easter in your?
We were just discussing that actually. It kind of depends on the year. We do a ham fairly often. A good tenderloin is always a good option. And I don't think you can, as long as you don't overcook it, 145 degrees, you can't go wrong there.
Pork tenderloin is sort of my go-to for like, if you need a quick dinner that's easy, it's so good. You have 2 young kids.
Yeah. And actually my boys 2 and 4, they love pork tenderloin. It's a whole cut of meat with so much value to it, so much nutrition to it, but it's still tender that a 2-year-old who doesn't have their molars yet is still able to chew it up well. And I appreciate that so much.
I like that. What is your favorite, like your favorite cut of pork?
Yeah, I would say a tenderloin. If I had to have my go-to, would be a tenderloin.
More than pork chop.
Yeah. And you can make a pork chop out of a tenderloin too, but I just the extra juice, the extra tenderness, I really do enjoy. But if I have to say just a recipe, it would definitely be going with kebabs or pork carnitas.
Oh, pork carnitas.
Yeah, those are so good.
The pork shoulder. I have some of that in my sitting in my fridge right now too. We are lucky, I will say, like our Minnesota restaurant scene. Our chefs have been doing so many creative things with pork, and like Vinay and Yia Vang, who I don't know if you've been there yet.
I have not yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
He's got this double cut, thick pork chop that is just like a drop from heaven. It's amazing.
I think pork is kind of that meat that some people forget about a little bit, but they have it again and they say, oh my gosh, why did I take so much time away from it? So hopefully we can continue getting more and more people remembering about it and eating it more.
Where do you go when you guys go out to eat? Where do you go? You go to Red Wing? Where do you go in Goodhue County?
Yeah, we go to Red Wing some. Actually, the Fireside in Denison, that's just a small town little place we really enjoy if we want a good sit down meal. Otherwise, we're pretty close to Northfield as well.
Oh, nice. Oh, you have some good options down there.
Yeah, there's a fair amount around us.
Excellent. It's so good to have you here. I hope you have a great... Oh, I wanted to know what you're doing to get your fields ready. What's a typical day?
Yeah, at this point during spring planting prep, people are waiting for the soil to warm up enough and to a temperature where we can start to, for those that do digging and cultivating in the spring, and then you get ready for planting, whether that's corn, whether that's soybeans, whether that's alfalfa going in or sorghum.
It's a little early.
A
little early to plant, though, right?
Yeah. Our plant date has already gone through for crop insurance, which is wonderful. But the weather's not quite given us the indicator that we're ready to go yet. There's some guys that are out in the fields, and we'll hopefully see more and more of them probably over the Easter weekend and into next week.
Are you a typical farmer, like always complaining about the weather? It's always like too hot, too cold, too dry, too wet.
Yeah, that's probably a typical Minnesotan, right?
Maybe true. It's never good enough for the farm. It is never good enough when your livelihood partially is out of your control, right?
Yeah, we control what we can. And I think that's going back to pig farming. Being able to raise pigs indoors helps to control some of those otherwise uncontrollables. We raise pigs inside. We decide how much water they're getting. We decide how much feed they're getting, what temperature they're exposed to, what diseases they might be exposed to. And that helps to keep them healthy and happy.
Is AI going to be part of this for you guys, you think?
AI has been involved in our barn technology in a lot of ways and continues to be more and more. I think there's a lot to still learn and understand, just like it is with every other area of technology. But it definitely is impacting the ag industry.
It's cool. Maddie, so good to visit with you. You're such a great spokesperson for Minnesota pig farmers. So thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here.
She's the best. Maddie Hokanson on DeRusha Eats. We'll break. We'll do CBS News. And we've got The Lead coming up after this. Oh, shout out to Andrew, by the way, who won that 4-pack of tickets. Andrew, our winner on Twins Ticket Tuesday. Winner? Sort of.
If you're suffering from burning, tingling, or numb feet, you need to pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Lindsay Tevlin, DC of Aspire Integrated Health. Dr. Tevlin, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is actually nerve damage to the feet, hands, and legs.
And what are the symptoms?
The major symptoms are numbness, tingling, burning, muscle cramps, coldness in hands or feet, and problems with balance.
So is neuropathy treatable?
It is absolutely treatable, and we can get some great results.
Call 651-504-3333 today to schedule a nerve damage screening.
This screening will tell you if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a good candidate for our innovative treatment program.
Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe that nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. Call 651-504-3333. The first 25 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 651-504-3333. Dr. Lindsay Tevlin, DC. Results may vary.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Anytime is tune-up time at Apollo Heating, Air, and Plumbing. For only $59, get your AC ready for the summer heat. Just visit us at callapollo.com. That's callapollo.com.
The way to keep up to date while you're on the go. News Talk 830 WCCO 102.9 KMNB HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Always streaming on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Matt Piper.
I will not stop fighting until I see my husband alive.
That is the wife of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, as a hearing has just ended for the man mistakenly deported to El Salvador. The judge has told the Department of Justice that every day he's detained is another day of irreparable harm. Arweja Jang is following.
A federal judge was questioning the administration about why it is not facilitating the return of Abrego Garcia, even though that is what the Supreme Court ordered. And the Department of Homeland Security is basically saying we don't have jurisdiction over this individual because he is currently in El Salvador.
The president wants Harvard to say sorry if it wants its funding back.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was asked about the president freezing billions of dollars in funding and threats to revoke the university's tax status.
President believes Harvard should apologize.
Apologize for what she called the egregious anti-Semitism that took place on its campus.
Jewish American students or students of any faith should not be illegally harassed and targeted on our nation's college campuses.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
John Fansmith is with the American Council on Education.
Arbitrarily cutting off the kind of funding that helps low-income students, that helps scientific researchers, because they disagree with the views of a campus leadership or certain members of that campus community, is contrary to the law. It is clearly illegal.
On the Health Watch, more than 700 measles cases have been confirmed so far this year in the U.S.
Amesh Adalia at the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security thinks this year's number is actually much higher.
We're not getting the full picture here because there's lack of diagnostic testing, people not coming forward to be tested.
Most of the cases have been in Texas, where 2 children died. Catherine Wells is the director of public health in Lubbock, where there's been an outbreak at a daycare.
Hopefully being able to open some vaccine clinics 7 days a week for a couple of weeks to really increase that vaccine rate.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
An Associated Press data analysis shows more and more Americans are having very long waits in hospital ERs, sometimes 4 or more hours, just to get beyond those swinging doors. Dr. Allison Haddock is president of the American College of Emergency Physicians.
The patients that we see who are sick and they need to stay overnight in the hospital don't have anywhere to go because the hospitals are chronically full. So where patients end up seeing that is in the emergency department, because they arrive at the emergency department, they need care, and there's nowhere to put them.
Rapper Lil Nas X posted a social media video from a hospital bed showing he lost movement in one side of his face. No word on why, but some are responding believing he has Bell's palsy. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now from Minnesota's radio station, let's get you caught up with Minnesota's latest headlines and biggest stories on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Cloudy and 54 at 5:03. I'm Taylor Rivera. This hour's top story: charges have now been filed against the man who was arrested in Minnetonka outside the United Healthcare headquarters after allegedly making threats. 26-year-old Ian Wagner faces charges of illegal possession of a firearm and threats of violence after police were called to the healthcare campus on Monday to reports of Wagner threatening to shoot up the building. Authorities say he was known to police and has a past of mental health challenges and harassing behavior. A search of his vehicle turned up a .38 caliber revolver. Charging documents also show Wagner was facing previous charges of violating his parole and a restraining order, and that he allegedly called 911 before the incident, threatening that if his previous charges weren't dropped, he would start shooting. He's set to make his first court appearance tomorrow in Hennepin County. A court hearing has been delayed for a University of Minnesota grad student.
The removal hearing for 28-year-old Dukan Günaydın, a Turkish citizen, was delayed because the Department of Homeland Security asked for more time to prepare their case. Günaydın was arrested late last month by federal immigration agents and faces deportation. Homeland Security terminated his student visa due to a 2023 DWI conviction, and prosecutors say he is a risk to public safety. Günaydın has since filed a lawsuit against ICE, arguing his constitutional rights were violated because he was arrested before his student visa had been revoked. At the moment, no date for his case has been set. Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Local Medicaid recipients are speaking out against cuts to the program in Minnesota and around the country. A new proposal before Congress aims to make a total of $880 million in cuts to Medicaid that includes an annual loss of $1.6 billion in Minnesota. Medicaid recipient Linda Fess.
My doctors found out that I had a congenital heart defect, and my life was saved because I had access to health care. Otherwise, I wonder if I would have thought, maybe this is just a cold, and I would have kept going and going, and something drastic could have happened. So I feel very strongly about this. Everyone needs access to health care.
She added that the loss of funds would also impact health insurance coverage for over 600,000 children in Minnesota. And while it was an official announcement, Minnesota Congresswoman Angie Craig appears to be inching even closer towards running for Minnesota's Senate seat as Senator Tina Smith retires. Craig is holding a number of town halls in the state and told WCCO Radio's Vanita Sakar she'll have an announcement within the next couple of weeks.
Well, I think this state deserves a fighter, somebody who's ready to stand up and take on this administration and, frankly, ready to work with him if they want to work back across the aisle.
Craig raised over $1.2 million in 2025's first quarter, her strongest fundraising quarter ever. WCCO News Time is 5:06.
On CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
This traffic update is brought to you by Lindus Construction, lindusconstruction.com. Look out for a crash on 35W northbound at Stinson Boulevard. Traffic is moving slow because of it. And we got an accident on 169 northbound between Rockford Road and East 9th Avenue North near Plymouth. April is a great time to call Lindus Construction. You can get free installation labor on quality Leaf Guard brand gutters and siding. I'm Tina Marie on News Talk 830 WCCO.
It's Jason DeRusha. I noticed my hair thinning and turned to Hair Restoration Institute of Minnesota. They've helped tens of thousands, and they helped me. Before and after photos at hrimn.com and book your free consultation. You can't spell hair without HRI.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Let's take a look at the forecast with WCCO TV meteorologist Chris Schaefer, brought to you by Hair Restoration Institute of Minnesota. Book your free consultation at hrimn.com.
We'll be mainly clear tonight and pretty chilly tomorrow morning, falling back to 34. The wind will finally settle down. only to pick up again tomorrow. Partly cloudy and warmer with a high of 60 on a breezy day. Rain showers return on Thursday. Might hear a few rumbles of thunder, especially down in southern Minnesota.
Right now it's 54 degrees on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Politics.
Just when you think you have seen it all.
Sports. Business. And everything that moves Minnesota. News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie. Just DERUSHA. It's Drive Time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
You're watching the cool brainwashing 12-year-old and younger station that hides behind a slick image. We're so cool that we decide what's cool. And now, here's your host,
Jason DERUSHA.
It is Tuesday. It is good to have you with us here on CCO. At some point in this hour, we will give away tickets for Stevie Nicks, who will be performing at, well, I'm not sure where she'll be performing because of the breaking news that kicks off. Dan, I threw Dan into a frenzy. He thought you were looking this up, weren't you? Dan is the best producer. But I was just messing around because we don't know where Stevie Nicks will be performing because of the first story in the lead.
Now, time to get you caught up on some of the biggest stories of the day. These are the DeRush Hour headlines.
Good evening. Our top story.
This just in.
Our top story.
We begin tonight.
We begin tonight.
We begin tonight.
We begin with the lead.
And the lead story is say goodbye to the X, not the building, the name. Xcel Energy Center will no longer be the naming sponsor. Xcel Energy not renewing the naming rights agreement to the arena in downtown St. Paul. The Minnesota Wild sharing this information just around 3 o'clock this afternoon. So Sports Business Journal has reported that the naming rights deal was worth $3 million a year. And $3 million a year was the deal that was signed in 2000, just before the Wild's first season. And frankly, it also was right around the time the Xcel Energy brand debuted. So the Wild was new. Xcel Energy was new when Northern States Power and Denver-based New Century Energies came together. Now, the reality is, what do you think a naming rights deal would cost today? It sure as heck is not going to be $3 million a year. The Minneapolis St. Paul Business Journal reporting that Lenovo is one of the newest naming rights deals that was signed at an arena, the home of the NHL's Carolina Hurricanes and the NC State men's basketball team. Used to be PNC Arena. Lenovo just signed a $6 million a year deal. 10 years, $60 million. The Wild saying they're thankful for their 24-year naming and team marketing rights. Their naming rights will expire this summer. And so what will the new name be? The Wild will be announcing that, they said, before the start of next season. So we'll see. Will they keep the name up there for a little while in between? Or will a new name be announced? Will it be local? Will it be national? No idea. But get ready to get used to screwing it up for a while. Because I know I'm still going to call it the X until they announce that new name. Second story in the lead is one suburb's incredible success in attracting business. They have pivoted from one challenge to the next, and nothing seems to keep Eagan down. The mayor of Eagan, Mike Maguire, is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline to react to a story that was in the Sunday Star Tribune talking about the success that Eagan has had. Mayor Maguire, good to be with you.
Listen, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So what is going on in Eagan? What is it that you guys are doing that seems to be working so well?
Well, I think we're very fortunate. We have a very skilled and professional staff that has really helped us weather some tough economic times in the past and through the recession in the mid 2000s. And I think the impacts of the pandemic certainly had a mark on Eagan. we had about 2 million square feet of office space that was newly vacant because of companies either downsizing their office space or leaving Eagan entirely. And we've been through that kind of thing before. So I think
because it's massive.
Really,
it's massive, Mayor. When you think of all of that office space and you look at the challenges that the downtowns are facing here with empty office space, but you guys, you lost that massive Blue Cross Blue Shield headquarters out there. There is a Delta Airlines data center that was out there. What sort of planning has to go on, or what sort of teamwork to say, like, all right, we're not going to get in our feelings about this. We're going to kind of grab hold of this situation.
Well, I credit the forward-looking nature of our economic development staff. I think when we were going through those things, and just to be clear, Blue Cross didn't leave the city of Eagan.
Right.
It reduced its footprint.
Yes, good point.
But I think about 2 years ago, as the impacts of the pandemic were starting to show their effects, our city economic development director really sat us down and said, this is a significant impact on Eagan, and we need to be proactive about planning how we move on. And with each of those sites that you just mentioned, and Thomson Reuters was also a big one.
Yes.
And with each one of them, I think we had a slightly different approach. And it was set to the site and who the partners were, and to what the market would bring us. And I think we were very proactive about the Unisys and the Delta site. Took on a very broad community planning conversation. It was already in an area of our city that we had anticipated for a long time would eventually transition. So we really were very proactive in that area, and kind of set out a vision of residential and commercial to replace the office space that was there. It would really take advantage of our community center and that really intense area of development in Eagan. So I really credit staff and our community for engaging our conversation there. I think when Thomson Reuters, it was a slightly different turn of events. We were very active in encouraging Thomson Reuters when they were going to leave their campus to still stay in Eagan. And I think through that activity, we built up a confidence between Thomson Reuters and the city of Eagan that not only could we help them stay in Eagan, as they did in the Prime Therapeutic building, but then when we turned around and worked with Thomson Reuters and Ryan companies on that Thomson Reuters property, we'd already been through a whole lot of conversations, and we kind of knew what everybody needed out of it. They were really needing to move quickly.
Yeah.
So we had a staff that just bird dogged everything and tried to move as quickly and expedite things as quickly as we could.
It's pretty cool, Mayor. I mean, in a time where people are skeptical of government getting the job done, what you guys have done is sort of absorb major kind of changes and major corporations moving or shifting or whatever. And it just seems like, oh, well, all right, we're going to bring in Solventum that's could add 1,000 jobs to the community, or we're going to create more housing, or just it is, to me, it's quite impressive. Your location helps. Having the Vikings there probably is a nice amenity that people are like, that's pretty cool. But you guys are getting it done.
We are. I've said for years that Eagan is a successful city and a strong community, and that's never been clearer to me than in the last couple of years. We do the things we need to do to get the job done, and we also enjoy a great amount of support from our community, and quite frankly, civic pride in Eagan. I think people really appreciate the job, not just that we're doing as local government, but the job that everybody is doing in Eagan in creating a place that's welcoming, that is safe, and that's attractive for people to move to work and to play in.
Good stuff, Mayor Mike Maguire. What's your favorite restaurant in Eagan, Mayor?
Well, I've been occasionally known to stop by at the Omni in the Heath up there.
Yes,
and once in a while I might stop by a local watering hole.
Very good. Yeah, go to the Cherokee. Go to the Cherokee. That's good stuff.
There we go. Yeah, I enjoy that place as well. There's too many.
The mayor can't answer the question. I understand. Such a politician. Very good. Mayor, thanks for being with us. Mayor Mike Maguire from Eagan.
Thanks for having me. Great day.
With us on the lead. Next story is a reaction to the WNBA draft. I was watching the draft with my wife and my high school senior last night. Sloane Martin is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. She was watching the draft as well. Sloane, it's good to visit with you.
Hey, it's very good to visit with you. I was actually hosting draft night where there were a couple hundred fans at Target Center, even though the Lynx did not even have a first-round pick. So I think there was a good amount of excitement going in.
It is, I think you look at the change over the last couple of years in the excitement where certainly the TV networks, ESPN has made this more of a thing. The New York Times did a huge spread on the fashion that the different athletes were wearing and the brand opportunities they have. That was pretty interesting too. Have you been, have you been as impressed as I have with how much this has changed over the years?
Yeah, it's interesting because I come about it from a very long perspective. I mean, this sport, the WNBA, women's basketball, has been my passion since I was a young teen, and now it being the bulk of my job at this point, both with women's college basketball and now working on the Minnesota Lynx broadcast as well. And it's interesting to see this swell of excitement. In fact, we just got news today that last night's draft was the second most watched all time. Of course, last year in 2024, Caitlin Clark going number 1 overall. That's going to be the number 1 most watched all time on ESPN networks. And you're right, the production quality, the interest, the effort, investment has all ticked up several notches from how it has been over, the last couple of years before that. But to think that this year's draft, the viewership was up 119% from 2023. So even though people were kind of watching those numbers and those metrics, what's going to happen, the Caitlin Clark effect, quote unquote, I think we're still seeing incredible growth across the board, even if those numbers didn't match exactly what they were the last season.
So the Lynx trade their pick to Chicago, which last year Chicago ended up taking Angel Reese, who is a big, obviously, star, celebrity factor, star factor. This year, and we did not pick Angel. This year, the Chicago Sky, with our pick, takes Haley Van Lith, who also has major star power. She is one of the cover models on Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue this year, which is quite remarkable for a college basketball player. Do you look at the Lynx? Now, I know you're the Lynx reporter. You're going to tell me everything the Lynx did is perfect, right? But
oh, Jason, come on now. I'm also a national TV.
I know that's why we have you. That's why we have you on. Do you worry a little bit where all right, the Lynx passed up on the opportunity for a couple of marquee big draw type players?
I know you set it up this way, Jason, but I'm going to say unequivocally, it does not bother me. Chicago is in a completely different place. They are trying to rebuild that franchise. They're a team that I think could miss the playoffs this year. It's clear that they're going for players who have huge followings. They want to build excitement about that team, get fans in the seats.
They're selling tickets.
Yes, I think that's undeniable there. I think there's a lot of reasons to doubt Haley Van Lith playing at this level with her size. We saw what happened when she had to guard Caitlin Clark in the NCAA tournament last year when she was at LSU. She was able to rebuild, frankly, her reputation on the floor, going to TCU and playing in the Big 12 as opposed to the SEC. But there, frankly, are a lot of questions about her athleticism and defense, her size translating to the WNBA. Cheryl clearly wants a no-frills, no-fanfare team, and it has worked quite well. When you take away that they were basically a possession away from winning their 5th WNBA.
Well, the fix was in. That was the officiating was ridiculous. I'm still bitter about that.
Oh, we all are, for sure. Especially thinking about there were a lot of jabs at the commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, and
yes,
the New York City skyline dress, but I digress about that. But you can't argue with the result and the direction of this team. Last year's culture was the best I have ever been around with the Minnesota Lynx, any team, and clearly they are building on that and making this a team that is all about winning and nothing else.
Paige Beckers will come here for the first game of the season at Target Center. That's going to be something else, isn't it?
How cool is that? I mean, that was a great thing to see, surrounded by Minnesota Lynx fans too, how excited they were for Paige. Think about what we've seen. I mean, people who have, they've caught on the last couple of years, Jason, but I know that there's people who have had their eyes on her since she was in middle school and knowing what she had the potential to be, and she's reaching that potential. And to think of what she's gone through, Jason, I think she is primed to continue to be one of the most efficient guards in basketball. She's talked about as there's been one player ever, Jason, to be a 50-40-90 player. That's shooting 50% overall, 40% from three, 90% from the three-point line. It's been done one time in WNBA history. I'm not saying it's going to happen this year, but Paige is someone who could be the second. She is that good, and I'm so excited to see what she's going to do. And there's no problem with openly rooting for a player who's one of us. And
yes, I think it's fine. We still want the Lynx to win, but it is fine. Sloane Martin, appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much.
That is the lead. Page 2 coming up in just a minute. That's a jam-packed lead. Page 2 will be less jam-packed. Who loves their HOA? Who loves their HOA? And what is the Twin Cities' #1 grocery store? I was surprised by this. We'll talk about it next.
Drive Time with DeRusha is hitting the off-ramp for a quick stop on News Talk 830 WCCO.
At the University of Minnesota, our goal is to make sure what happens in Minnesota doesn't stay in Minnesota, because the discoveries we're making have implications for the health of the world. From the cancer-detecting AI model we built in Rochester, to how we're redefining mental health in Morris, to breakthroughs we're making in Crookston, Duluth, and the Twin Cities. Our discoveries start here, but they make the world healthier everywhere. The University of Minnesota, driven to discover.
Thinking about buying or selling a business, the right legal team makes all the difference. At Helmuth & Johnson, our team specializes in sophisticated mergers and acquisitions, guiding you through every negotiation, contract, and closing with skill and precision. From due diligence to deal structuring, we are 100% client-focused, protecting your interests so you can focus on success. Big or small, we make complex transactions seamless. Visit hjlawfirm.com. That's hjlawfirm.com. Helmuth & Johnson, on your side, at your side, for all of your business needs.
I'm Karen Heitz with Baird Private Wealth Management. At Baird, investing and financial planning are just part of the solution. Just as important is our personal commitment to your success. Meeting with you, answering your questions, working with your tax and legal advisors so you can see your complete financial picture come together. Focused on you, no matter what. That's how Baird's been doing business for more than 100 years. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdTwinCities.com.
If you need to sell your home, know that even if you can't time the market out perfectly, your home can still sell for the most money possible. Hey, it's Vanita. That is, if you hire my friend, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster, and his team with the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Wendy and Brian were living in the western suburbs. They didn't have much time to wait for their home to sell. A lot of stress involved. They'd heard about John here on CCO Radio. They decided to give him a call. It was the right decision. John taught them his blueprint for success, and they followed it. They picked the marketing plan they wanted and got $30,000 over the asking price. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000. Online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
Let's go through the list. What do you think of Jason?
Absolutely no.
Oh, wow. Kathleen, thank you very much.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
DRUSH Hour News headlines continues with page 2 in this question. What is the Twin Cities' #1 grocery store? You might be surprised. I was.
That's when I thought Walmart grocery couldn't be more convenient. I learned these great things about their pickup service that helped me save even more time.
Walmart. Minneapolis St. Paul Business Journal reporting on some new data that shows Walmart has 19% market share, $2.24 billion in sales, grocery sales, in just 30 stores. Target is number 2, 17% share, $2 billion. Then Cub, 16% share, $1.9 billion. But Cub does it over 75 stores. Costco does $1.5 billion with just 10 stores. That's 13% share. Then Lund's and Byerly's with 7%. Sam's, Aldi, Hy-Vee is kind of how that goes. Speaking of grocery stores, a local spot had almost no carts. It was starting to freak people in St. Paul out.
Let's say you're at a Kroger and you see me, then I don't return the cart to the cart return. What do you do?
There's nothing I can do because you've already made your choice, but I will judge you silently, and my opinion of you as a person will have forever been decided.
That's right. No carts at the Cub at 1440 University Avenue West. Fred Mello of the Pioneer Press writing about this. He said there were weeks, if not months, of complaints about what appeared to be a near complete lack of supermarket carts. They've restocked the carts. This was a story in the actual paper today. Where's my damn carts? The reality is the Midway neighborhood people were worried that it meant that Cub was going to leave. They were going to close the store. Not happening. The statement, can you imagine? You know, sometimes I think about leaving broadcasting, Dan, and I'm like, well, I guess I could get some sort of public relations job. And I would have to get a job like Kristen Jimenez. At our location on University Avenue, we have encountered some issues with community members removing carts from our parking lot and not returning them. Oh, gosh. Penn and Teller are coming to the Ren Fest.
2 Siamese twins, both women. One plays trombone, one's a nymphomaniac. They both love Julio Iglesias.
Bring Me the News reporting they're going to perform a special one-day-only show at the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. Did you know this? I did not know this. That Penn and Teller performed for the first time together at Renfest in 1975. They were part of a trio called Asparagus Valley Cultural Society. You knew this. Did you know this? I had no idea.
I had no clue.
I didn't know there was like a Penn and Teller, Minnesota. Are they one of us? Sort of. They met through this Weir Christmas. And they performed together until 1981. And Weir was out, and Penn and Teller became among the most famous magicians ever. Do you love your HOA?
HOAs suck. They're like mini dictatorships where you just need to pay money to a group of people who weren't chosen by you. And they have absolutely nothing else better to do than just tell you what you can and what you can't do with your property.
What is that soundbite from? That's so good. That is how most of us feel about our HOA. Except if you're the Karen of the neighborhood. You're the one who's like, well, Larry just painted his garage off gray, and I'm going to call the HOA, and they're going to send out the narc who's going to write you a ticket. I have a bit of a beef with HOAs, as I had to go through a threat of a lawsuit to get my HOA to approve the new garage door that I installed. You might wonder, Jason, what sort of offensive garage door were you installing? It was one that didn't have a giant dent in it. But I had the audacity to try to get a garage door that had those like little peekaboo windows, 4 across the top thing, instead of running vertically, like 1 in each panel going down. I had all 4 across the top. That was outrageous for my HOA, and they initially declined it. In Minnesota, 1.5 million people live in HOAs. Both Republicans and Democrats are backing major changes in the way that they're operating standards for rules and fines, no foreclosures for less than $2,500, plain language rules for rights and responsibility, and no board conflicts of interest. We'll see if they get it done. But is this the only thing Republicans and Democrats agree on? Maybe. That is the DRush Hour News headlines. Let's give away tickets to Stevie Nicks. Why not? Now is your time. Give us a call at 651-461-9226. We are going to play Drive Time with DeRusha original, name that tune, with a chance to win those tickets to see Stevie Nicks at whatever the hell the arena is called in downtown St. Paul on August 19th. It may be XL Energy Center. But we're giving away 2 tickets to see Stevie Nicks, but you got to call now. We will play a clip from a Stevie Nicks song, and you will try to guess it. We'll do that coming up.
More Drive Time with DeRusha is on the way following these messages on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Do you have a wedding coming up? How about a special event, a graduation? Do you have a suit that fits, that looks good, that's stylish? Go see my friends at J.H. & Sons at the Galleria in Edina. The Halberstadt team, Jeff Halberstadt, has done an unbelievable job. His family has decades of making men look their best in the Midwest. Now their store in the Twin Cities has the best service in town. I can tell you this because I go there all the time. There's a video on my Instagram page at DeRushaJ with Sam getting help to pick out a suit, getting measured for the tailoring. Just an unbelievable first-class experience. This is an upscale experience. So this is about buying a suit that's going to last you for a lifetime. Well, it's not going to last you a lifetime. It'll last you 5 years, 10 years. I told Sam no gain in the freshman 15 while he's off at college because he's got to fit in this beautiful suit that he's getting. And it is beautiful. Luxurious fabrics, on-trend colors. They've got the whole deal taken care of for you. And it's a one-stop shop, too. They've got the beautiful tailoring. But then if you're looking for linen, maybe going on a vacation, maybe looking for something for a date night, go see the team. Amazing service. They will guide you to something that'll work for you. J.H. & Sons is online at jhandsons.com or go to the Galleria in Edina. Go in and say hello. Go see them at J.H. & Sons.
Smart Takes.
I appreciate you talking about this.
Once again, we're looking on the wrong end.
Hot Takes.
You don't get how scared we are.
Why? It makes no sense.
Even half-baked takes.
I think you're asking politicians to be ethical.
There's no way.
The airwaves are better when you're in the conversation.
I think the whole thing was inappropriate.
Our tax money is giving them gifts.
Shame on them.
Where Minnesota comes to talk. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today. For for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-969-0686 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0686 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0686.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
We've got a couple of crashes that will definitely slow you down if you're in that area. We have a crash actually in the clearing stages on 169 southbound between 55 and 394. Expect about a 5-minute delay. And 94 westbound between Riverside Avenue and Cedar Avenue, we've got a crash here that's causing a 12-minute delay. I'm Tina Marie on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason DeRusha here. The Canopy Group represents 16 different insurance companies, not just one. They give you options. Each year, they'll review your program so you don't have to, making sure you get the best coverage at the best price. Do like I did. Go to thecanopygroup.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
The Canopy Group bringing us this weather forecast. Let's check in with Chris Schaefer.
A chilly night tonight as we fall back to 34. At least the wind finally backs off. Now, it will be breezy again tomorrow, but warmer. Partly cloudy with a high of 60. We start out dry on Thursday, but rain showers move in. A few non-severe thunderstorms are possible in southern Minnesota with a high of 64.
Right now, it is, well, the winds have calmed a little bit at least. The winds are just about 8 miles an hour, 54 degrees on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRusha. Now video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
That is the clip for our Stevie Nicks giveaway. All week, we're giving away a pair of passes every day to see Stevie Nicks at XL Energy Center, which it'll probably still be called that on August 19th. You can get tickets. Right now, they're live at livenation.com. They're at the Stevie Nicks website as well. But we've got a great lineup of callers ready to play Name That Tune. I need the actual title of the song. Dan in Maple Grove, you are first up. Can you do it, Dan?
Rhiannon.
Oh,
Rhiannon.
Too easy. Too easy. Dan, you nailed it. Dan, you got, this was much easier than yesterday, which took, I think, 4-5 callers to get to the winner.
Yeah.
Rhiannon,
yeah,
that's about,
no.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Dan, congratulations. You have won
Well,
2
thank
tickets.
you.
How about that? Have you ever won
That'll be
before here on
fantastic.
CCO?
I won Mellencamp once.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
No,
Do
quite a while ago.
we give you good seats, or do you are you up in the rafters? Do you know?
I was up in the rafters, but I was right on the ledge, so it was good.
That's not
It was
bad.
a good time.
Mellencamp.
No, it was really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stevie Nicks, I think I looked this up yesterday. I cannot believe, she is what, 78, I think?
Yeah, she's in her
76.
70s.
76.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. She looks great. I don't know if all of her
Yeah.
is 76. It's none of my business. But
Good one.
who are you going to bring to see the show?
I'll bring my wife.
Nice. And did you hear today the news that XL Energy Center is no more? So it may be.
No, so Yeah, I mean, we'll go to the structure. How's that sound?
I like it. We don't know what it's going to be called. So by, what is it? August. The show date is August 19th. So it may still be XL Energy. Very good. Well, thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. And you're a Stevie Nicks fan?
Oh, sure.
All right.
Yeah.
It'll be a great show.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, congratulations. We'll do this again tomorrow. Dan, stay on the line. Jason and Patty and Pam and Paul, I'm sorry we didn't even get to you. But Dan just locked it down. He was locked in. He knew what was up. So we'll get Dan's information. And we may as well do that now. Why don't we do it now? So we don't make Dan sit on hold forever. So Dan's going to go get his information. That's kind of how this goes, right? Like, it could take forever. Dan going to see a show at the XL Energy Center reminds me of one of the stories today that I think is sort of absurd. And maybe you disagree at 651-461-9226. But some Democrats in the legislature want to make it state law that if you go to a concert, that they have to provide water for free. The quote from the hearing, it just slayed me. And look, like, if you're going to a concert, if you're choosing to go to a venue, you should expect to buy water. The state of Minnesota is going to tell some outdoor festival, if you're in Eagan and having an outdoor festival, now you got to make sure you provide free water to people. The quote from someone who testified, consumers have a human right to water. Now, most of the big venues already have it. Like, if you go to Target Field to see a Twins game, they even, when I was there on Sunday, they had like an advertisement during the game that you can go fill up your water bottle at the Pentair water station. Now, are most of us bringing a water bottle to Target Field? No. Now, if you have a couple of kids, is that a good idea? Yeah, you should probably bring a water bottle. If you're going to a show at XL Energy Center, do I think people should be bringing in I've got this Yeti water bottle right here that you can see on the live stream if you're watching it. This thing is enormous. Like, it'll listen to it. Is that a good idea for me to be bringing this giant? Because if I'm bringing a water bottle to a concert, I'm not bringing a 16-ouncer, right? You want to bring a big old Yeti or a giant water bottle? The state is sort of working this out where they've made some adjustments, but the lead sponsor of this is Lee Finke, a DFL'er from St. Paul, and she says it is without a doubt the most popular bill I have ever introduced. Well, why wouldn't it be popular? Give me something for free. I think the genesis of this is the outdoor venue. And perhaps, remember Taste of Minnesota 2 summers ago? I think it was 2 summers ago. Because they've done that twice now, right? In downtown Minneapolis. But the first time, it was really hot, and there were no public water stations. And then for the second day of the event, they had added, drinking fountain type things and spots for people to get water. I just think, shouldn't you expect to buy water? Isn't like all of these things have concession stands? Like, why is it any of the state's business? And if you don't like it, like, don't go. No one's making you go to a concert or go to a venue. I just think it's crazy. The quote in the paper, the initial need for this bill comes from hot summer events in which access to water is inconvenient or sometimes expensive. Maybe a family is spending $200 on an event and they have to spend $7 to get water for their kids. To which I would say, yeah, Like, don't bring your family to an event if you don't want to spend $7. Water at an event is a human right? Like, well, you know what else is a human right? A gin and tonic. Okay. I would like free gin and to me, it's ridiculous. Like, we got nothing. Like, I can understand why it's popular. Like, well, of course. Yeah, give me some free crap. Like, I'm down with, The bigger issue, as Dan pointed out when we were talking about this earlier, is that this is, in the main venues, it's not really a problem. The main sporting events, right? Like, we know at Target Field you can fill up your water bottle. Can you fill up your water bottle at I don't know. I think most places have that. But think about security. Right? Like, if you're going to a concert, I'm sorry, I don't think you should be able to. They're taking the caps off the bottle at the concession stand so you don't chuck the cap at someone. And now everybody can bring in the big dumb water bottle that we have at home. Stupid. 548. Speaking of stupid, we'll take the temperature of the Twins in just a minute here on Drive Time.
Jason DeRusha and Drive Time needs to make a brief pit stop on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Pro Turf was at my house today. It's Jason for the team at Professional Turf. When I'm telling you about Pro Turf, it is because I use them. I'm a customer. I love the results. I love the local ownership. And I know you're going to have great results too. Pro Turf Tech put that first anti-crabgrass application down today. They gave me a good tip, too. You should try this. Cut your lawn shorter than normal. Go ahead. The lawn is dry enough. You can do it. The sun is actually going to warm your soil faster. Growth will start sooner, and you'll be on the way to the greenest lawn on the block. Now, Pro Turf can help you get there. They come in person, and people are calling right now. So you want to do it, too, at 952-469-8680. Get on the schedule because Pro Turf comes to your house to do an estimate. In person, the old-fashioned way, not on a computer. They look at your lawn, design a solution for your needs. Irrigation, you bet. I want to talk about landscaping, though. Think about this summer being your time to do that whole big-time landscape redo. Pro Turf is awesome at it. 100% ROI for a lot of landscape projects at home. You can see some of their work at professionalturf.com or make that call. 952-469-8680. Pro Turf.
At the University of Minnesota, our goal is to make sure what happens in Minnesota doesn't stay in Minnesota, because the discoveries we're making have implications for the health of the world. From the cancer-detecting AI model we built in Rochester, to how we're redefining mental health in Morris, to breakthroughs we're making in Crookston, Duluth, and the Twin Cities. Our discoveries start here, but they make the world healthier everywhere. The University of Minnesota, driven to discover.
Hi, it's Vanita, and we know how great the John Schuster Group is, but it's wonderful to hear from people who have benefited from that relationship. One of them is Ray from Minnetonka. Ray, thanks so much for joining us. Why did you choose the John Schuster Group?
At our first meeting with Tim and Abby Lehman, we clicked right away.
What was your experience like selling your home with the John Schuster Group?
It was incredibly simple. Our first day on the market, we got our first offer, and I was like, wow, we did get multiple offers, but we went with the first offer we got on Friday.
Okay, bottom line, why should every WCCO listener contact the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty, when it's time to move?
From the moment they walked into our home, we had nothing to worry about with them. We're just beyond our expectations. We just can't thank them enough.
952-222-9000 online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Look out for a crash on 35W northbound between the 26th Street overpass and 94. This is blocking the right shoulder. We've got another accident, 35E northbound at the exit 117 ramp to 96. This is blocking the right shoulder, and just use caution. People are walking around outside of their cars. I'm Tina Marie on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I use it. It works for me, and I am thrilled to be able to share the information with you. Jordana Green here, and yes, I'm talking about CBD.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Weather is brought to you by Mini Leaf, the home of Minnesota's best legal products. Find them at minileaf.com. Tonight, 34 is the low. Tomorrow, we're at 60. Thursday and Friday, early look for rain. Could be some thunder on Thursday. Average high is 57. Right now, it is 53 on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DERUSHA.
That is the number one addiction in America. Is there any doubt about it?
No, I don't think so.
It's not close.
No.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Are the Twins cooking or on a cooling trend? A hot streak for our big bats? Or have we hit a cold spell? And is the bullpen still bringing the heat? Let's get a read on our hometown nine as we take the temperature of the team. Brought to you by Chef IQ Sense. Never under or overcook your chicken, fish, pork, or beef again with Chef IQ Sense. Get your wireless meat thermometer now at chefiq.com.
Well, the temperature of the team, I would say the current temperature is 10,240. That is the paid crowd yesterday. The first time the Twins had fewer than 11,000 fans other than COVID-related limitation, the COVID era. Lowest crowd in Target Field history yesterday. And the Twins played like they played worthy of that distinction as well, losing 5-1. The record is 5-12. Dan, we're all seeking a little bit of a warmer temperature, a little bit of optimism, but it's been tough.
It's been difficult. They can't put wins together. And of course, when you're kicking the ball around like they did last night, pitchers committing 2 more errors. That's the 5th and 6th errors committed by Twins pitchers in just 17 games this season, which is on pace to shatter their club record of 26. That's from our friend Dan Hayes at The Athletic. And when you are just botching the simplest of things, when you're not putting forth a professional effort and people aren't showing up to the ballpark, we talked about this the other day, the team is looking for levers to pull. And while I absolutely will maintain this is not a Rocco Baldelli problem, that seat's getting warmer by the day.
Feels that way, right?
Yeah.
Going to a game is fun no matter what. But when you have a collapse at the end of last season, frustration over not making major money moves or major team personnel moves, and then you don't have the sale of the team that I think some fans were looking towards for a boost, and then you poop the bed the first 10% of the season.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
That is the temperature of the Twins. It's tough.
It's tough.
I don't know. I still love going to a game. Obviously, back in the Metrodome days, the early season, kids are in school.
Sure. But all you have to do is go back to the 2023 postseason and the energy that was there to know what that place can be, and it's absolutely not that right now.
From
Every night's a new chance to turn it around. Bailey over on the starting pitching wasn't our problem yesterday, that's for sure. Pregame at 6, first pitch at 6:40. Let's get a win. Let's turn it around, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
You know that feeling when you're about to cut into a juicy steak and hope it tastes as perfect as it looks? Well, worry no more. The chef